a bit of trivia for you, if you'd like.
Okay, great.
Do you know much about the first ever AFL game?
1896.
I don't know the year.
All right. Do you know much about the first game?
Okay, here's the question for you.
Okay.
How many players were on each team in the first ever AFL game?
16 aside?
Wrong. 40.
What?
There were 40 players on each team in the first ever AFL game.
How big was the ground? This sounds
It was
amazing.
like an 800-metre ground in this big paddock, and it was played over 3 games, over 3 weekends, and there was
3 weekends?
And there was 2 goals scored. So that's just a bit of AFL trivia for you. So I'm telling you this because I saw it at the AFL bar at an airport.
Right.
And there was these plaques everywhere, and it had all this info, and I sat in front of this plaque, and it had the first ever AFL game. I couldn't believe it, 40 players.
So don't let anyone ever tell you, we need to get back to the way footy used to be played because...
Space and all that.
That's why Steve Hawking wants the game to be faster and quicker and more goals scored.
Could you imagine 80 players on the field right now?
You can't explain footy to many people, but if you said, look, this is where it started, 40 players each team, there's 80 people running around, it's 800 metres square. It's like, you get a big crowd in on
high
this.
Scoring, right? Lots of players. Nope, 2 goals.
Well,
3
it sounds
weekends.
like soccer. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good story, mate. Well done.
No worries.
You were away, like you went to Melbourne over the weekend?
Yeah, it was good. Home of footy. Didn't
good.
watch a game. Wasn't worth it. No good games on. So
No good games on.
Nah.
Geelong St Kilda didn't tickle the fancy?
nah.
You took your non-drinking wife out for a few shots of gin.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, very good. Who ended up on top? As in, who won that bout?
I think I did.
Oh, well done, champion. All right, here we go. BackChat _. You can find us on socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Scully's had no phone all weekend. It's been a bit of a shit show of a weekend, to be honest, but we're back. It's all good. You know where to find us via email, hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. Use that for you send it, we read it. Get in contact about anything you like. Send in your fines. Once again, there's a big fine session coming up today.
Huge.
I really am enjoying what people have given to that and the aggression. There's some pure aggression.
Getting personal, aggressive. I messaged you over the weekend. You probably didn't get it because you didn't have a phone. I said, we might need to start a BackChat podcast, like a weekly episode for just fines, where people just send in your grievances for one another.
Yes.
We'll get both parties on the phone. They can fight it out on the phone.
We're going to get to that later. Patreon, our patrons are very, very lovely people. VIPs of this podcast.
Make
they support us. When we were shit kicking around in university labs and someone else's tin shed work office space, before we got our nice little studio we've got here at BackChat Studios.
Yes.
Our patrons, our patrons looked after us and they continue to do so. There are some VIP codes over at Patreon. If you do want to sign up, support the podcast and we'll support you. All of our sponsors, we got little goodies over there for Patreon. So Whippersnapper, best whiskey in the world.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Little VIP code over there for you. That you like coffee, Margaret River Roasting Co. Get yourself a nice little discount over there for our patrons. Bluebet.
Of course.
Oh yeah, Bluebet. Cameo. I had a cameo this week.
Did you?
Yeah,
Who was it for?
Someone who'd been bagging me on the coverage of Fox Footy. And his mate wanted me to stitch him up, coming back at him saying, don't talk shit about me.
Love that.
Which was good. And new sponsors. Shelter.
Huge.
Shelter Brewing Co. down in Busso, local brewing company. Going to be big things out of them. They got a huge, big stadium, big brew house down at Busso. I reckon it's probably definitely the best in WA, maybe the best brewery in Australia.
Could quite possibly. We went down there last week. Great experience.
It was good. So Shelter's on board. You see a few beers floating around. So it won't just be whiskey. We're drinking a couple of beers as well for our guests. And we'll have a VIP
Call that
code
a
as well.
Boilermaker.
What is?
A beer and a shot. Like
Really?
a beer and a whiskey. Boilermaker. Yeah, usually you pair the right whiskey with the right beer. But it's delicious.
Okay, so thank you very much to our sponsors. Thanks to our patrons. Let's get into it. Fantasy. We're just going to cut this a little bit short, right? There's someone who's leading. He's second in Australia right now. Who is it? Primetime Ballers.
Nathan
At Primetime Ballers. Nathan, you're coming second in Australia, and I'm bloody proud of you because
on
you're
top of our league, second in the nation.
part of the BackChat Fantasy League. Look, the
If
bunch
he
of
wins,
us,
we win.
Yeah, correct. And the bunch of us, look, we're going up, going down. I will say it. I say it every time. Fantasy changes very quickly. So that's what Nathan's doing. He's leading the comp. Watch our socials if you want to stay up to date with that.
Yep.
We do need to give an update, though, on the Hot Guys team.
Yes, of course.
Because they had a little bit of fall from grace last week. The Hot Guys, too long in the mirror, spending a little bit too much time looking at themselves, doing their hair. Don't know what was going on, but they're back this week.
Handsome as ever.
Just outside the top 1,000 in the country. My wife, Alex, the Hot Guys team owner, they're just outside the top 1,000, 13th in the BackChat League. So I'm still a chance to win the tickets.
Yes, you and your wife could be going.
She won't be taking me. She said she won't be taking me.
Good on her.
Yeah.
She's doing all the hard work.
So there you go, fantasy. There's a little update for you. I'm going to keep you coming there. Now, a little bit of a whip around all things content in BackChat land.
Yes.
The best, worst Guernsey competition has dropped.
Yes, absolutely. And it's dropped hard.
And you've had your say. So we put some stories up earlier this week. We had 8 matchups of the best, worst Guernseys ever.
In AFL history.
Yeah, that's correct. So Sports Gear Australia, they're on board. They're sponsoring that segment for us. And, you know, what they do, they're over at Instagram, Sports Gear AUS. So that'd be Oz, Sports Gear Oz.
Yep.
They source player-issued Guernseys, and you can buy pretty much anything that's ever existed, but player-issued. So not the stuff that comes out the back of it falls out the back of the truck. We're not talking that.
Right.
They're sourcing the real stuff. So they're getting behind this. And the winner... So not only will we crown the best, worst Guernsey in Australia, we've got a chance for you to enter, the listener, the watcher, and you can win the best, worst Guernsey.
Great.
The boys down at Sports Gear Australia are going to source that from someone. Don't know who. I'll have to go.
I'll find it.
Yeah. So we've got the matchups running now. Look, there's been some surprises, fair to say.
Yeah. Yep. There was a couple I thought were shoo-ins to get out of the first round.
Like the Power Ranger, the Hawthorn Power Ranger. I thought, that's got to be one of the worst. It looks like it's going to go down to the Hawthorn cross jumper, which is, it's another Hawthorn one, but it looks like it's going to get
vintage wins out there.
I mean, there's a couple that are, definitely going through. Orange, the North Melbourne Orange one. Pitiful. Carlton's light blue, head to head with Richmond's Tiger. It's a Tiger crest. It's 50-50 at the moment. So once all these releases are out, you can check us on Insta. We're going to run. It's going to be over 3 weeks. There's going to be 3 rounds. We're going to crown the best, worst, and then we're going to draw a name out of a hat. I'm assuming.
Sure.
Freo beanie in the hat, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, then we'll have to print it. Maybe we'll do a digital. I think we'll do a digital one.
Good. So make sure you get on socials, follow that along, and we will be crowning that.
You know what I would like to get from Sports Garage and see if they can get this for us?
Yes.
Is a 2005 West Coast Eagles premiership hat. Right? So on Grand Final, they had to have them ready just in case. Right? So that the team could walk around with them.
Yes.
They must exist somewhere. They had to make them.
There's got to be a decent market for that, I reckon. What about, why is it just 2005?
Well, that's just the last.
Do you want to go with 15? Or what?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
should I let you finish your sentence?
That's the last time the Eagles were ever in a grand final. Yeah, or 2015. That would be, if you could get one of those, surely.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Anyways. Very good. Leon Cameron gets the sack. GWS.
Yep.
What do you think about him getting a send-off game? Like,
I don't see the point.
I found it strange. When's the last time that's happened? Like someone's gone, I'm quitting or resigning, and they will give you one last game. It happens to players, fair enough.
Yes.
He also got effectively chaired off in between the two clubs too. It was very weird.
He's done a lot. He's done a lot for the team.
Yeah, but just so you know, he's been sacked. You don't leave round 9 in the season because it's all good and it's going well. Like, he's lost his job.
They're 15th on the ladder.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that a little bit later. You're a bit fired up about GWS v West Coast coming up, and maybe GWS aren't as good as they think they are.
Well, actually, now that we're talking about this, we'll talk about it. Yeah. We'll talk about it later. But yes, it is odd. Getting chaired off after getting a bit of a sack, odd.
Roaming BackChat, West Coast v Melbourne. Charlie, how did you go, mate?
It was a good time. There was a few disappointed fans, but quite a few. quite a few happy Melbourne fans, yeah.
I mean, I feel like there must have been a bit of disappointment over at Roaming Charlie or Roaming BackChat this week because, I mean, you would have been very disappointed with the Freo Dockers this week, mate.
It certainly had a sad energy this week. That was a hard game to watch. Did not like that Gold Coast game.
What's happened? The wheels aren't falling off the bus, surely.
Nah, it was a bit too dewy.
Stewie Dew, you reckon?
No, it was dewy, the weather.
You didn't even...
No, I did that on purpose.
Okay, good.
One team did manage to score, though. So,
What's that?
Conditions-wise.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Charlie.
They're used to it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Okay. They train there at Metricon.
Well, let's hopefully they can...
As I tweeted earlier in the week, there are contenders and there are pretenders.
You tweeted that, did you? Yeah. How did that go down?
Did
you tag Freo Dockers?
No, nothing. Just tweeted it, and of course,
let's raise this now, right? Because we're about to say... Can you take your blue and gold lenses off, mate? Because you are a very you have a whinge about the Fremantle supporters, always having a sook about West Coast, but you are a chief protagonist, mate.
The difference.
You're so happy to see Fremantle lose.
The difference is West Coast are bad, so you can say whatever you want. When your team's good, you don't worry about anyone else. Just worry about yourself.
Right.
That's why. Why I get a pass for tweeting whatever I want.
Is that how you've gone about your business for the last 15 or so years?
Yeah.
Have you?
I think so.
You never sat at the top of the tree and go, have a look at the Dockers down there.
I don't think I have. I really haven't. But I never referenced Fremantle. It's just that Fremantle fans read into that, and you read what you want, man.
Right, just don't be a sore loser, mate. Okay, it's okay to lose. It's okay.
It was just a quote I thought of, and I happened to tweet it after the Fremantle game. There was no reference to.
Okay, let's hopefully they're back on the bike at some point.
You also tweeted when was the last time Freo scored 33 points or something. So you did
such
mention
an absolute.
No,
it was definitely a reference to 33 points.
Yes, I asked Sir Swamp Thing how many teams this season have scored.
Such a liar.
Yeah, so I was curious.
Just get your head back in your box, mate. West Coast is shit, just so you know.
I know.
That's okay. They'll return to their glory at some stage in your life.
They will. It's fine.
So hopefully it's sooner rather than later, I suppose. Yeah. All right, Blue Bet, BackChat bets. Now, we went close again this week, but once again we fell at the first hurdle.
Yeah, it's really rough when that happens.
Like, if we have a look at the bet, once again, the same as last week, it would have come down to the last kick of the day if Hawthorn had done it. And you know what? Hawthorn covered the line. So our multi this week was, first up was Hawthorn v Essendon. We gave Hawthorn a 19.5 point head start.
Hawthorn v Tigers.
It was Hawthorn v Tigers. You're dead right. And they were looking out of it. They came back. They got within 11 points with 40 seconds to go.
They were up by 2 or 3 goals in the second quarter. I was like, we are absolutely on here.
Yeah, but then they lost it. They came back.
Yep.
And with 40 seconds to go, they couldn't shut the valve. They let a goal through. Richmond win by 20 points or something. We lose by 0.5 of a point. So
frustrating.
It ruins the bet. But just stick with us because Will Brodie, he has 25 in the revenge game, Charlie. You love a revenge bet.
Oh, I loved it. That's why I'm thinking about a bit of James H this week.
Will Brodie almost had 25 touches in the first quarter, mate. He had 16.
He was putting in the work. I love to see it.
It's a great. I love the addition to the bet because it's the mentality of players. Because you're right. Because Will Brodie would have fired himself. You can't play badly against your former team.
Oh, you just can't. I love to see it.
Okay, very good. So that gets up, right? So just pretend the Hawthorn one gets up. Melbourne at the line, they win. And late, we gave West Coast a 10-goal head start.
Yeah.
Which
Melbourne almost covered that line in the second quarter.
Correct. And then I had a bet on Ed Langdon because I like his hair. He's not bald. He wears a headband. I wish I had his hair. Mm-hmm. He has 24 touches. We need him over 25. So we just missed out.
And there was a touch waiting for him in the goal square, and he wasn't given it.
So all you needed to do, if you want to get along and have a bit of fun with us, we got links in the bio. Jump on. We put it all over socials. Sammy, our graphic designer, put some very funny photos up.
Yep.
And it's a bit of fun. And hopefully we'll get you a win because Bluebet's actually boosting the shit out of our odds. It's not about winning money, but like it was probably a $4 bet. It was $10. The multi was $10 this week.
Yeah. They're practically begging us to steal their money.
we need to take them down. It's actually time to take them down. All right. So I reckon we do a James H type setup, Charlie, against his old team.
Yeah, another revenge bet. I like it.
Okay, I like the mentality around that. West Coast v GWS.
Yeah.
Can we put something around that game?
The line currently
is
39.5.
So again, if you're not a betting person, all that means is 39-point head start to West Coast. So if the scores are level at the start of the game, it's actually like West Coast starts on 39.5 points.
Yes.
You think that's good?
I thought that was worth having a look at because GWS have only won one more game than West Coast. They're not, put it this way. What were Melbourne, 52?
59.
59. That's not that. It's only a few more goals.
Right.
Top team.
I mean, I really think maybe you should be sitting here in a West Coast polo or something. But do you understand how shit West Coast are going right now?
They're awful. They're the worst team in the comp. They're the worst team in a long time.
I don't think they get near GWS. I've got to be honest. I think we put a hot guy in the multi. I think we got to get a hot guy in there.
What I will say about the GWS game, first time coach. They love to get around first time coach.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to take West Coast?
No, I only thought about that afterwards.
Right.
First time coach
Jared
always
McVeigh.
gets those wins.
McVeigh, who's been an assistant there for a little while, he's going to take over GWS. And hot guy. I want a hot guy in
All
there.
right, let's get a hot guy in there.
I don't know who's left. I mean, Jack Steele gets injured this week. He's out for 6 to 8 weeks. He's pretty hot. Look, I don't know. Bailey Smith's probably going to be
Bailey.
the guy. He's very hot. Or Ben Brown.
Petrarca.
Ben Brown, very quiet this week.
First goal, first kick, first goal.
Yeah, he had 6 touches, mate.
Do you know what I love about
Tommy
Ben
Barrasso
Brown?
on him. Well, a lot, yes.
When he runs in, he looks like he's a character from the AFL PlayStation game. Like he's just got such a straight robotic run in.
He kicked a goal from a set shot against West Coast, and it looked like he was coming from the line of the Campfield to kick the goal. he was so far back.
He gets this light jog on.
Yes, correct. Yeah, it was straight, and he drilled it through the middle.
Yeah.
NBA finals are on. F1's on. There's a fair bit going on.
There's so much. So we might chuck a few of those cheeky ones
I just
in.
really would like to take down Blue Bet. That's all. I don't really give a shit about the odds. I don't really care. I just want to take them down.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're giving us extra odds. They're getting cocky. While they're going.
Spoke to the boys over there. They're getting a bit cocky.
Yeah.
About time you take us down.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, still waiting. We hit the first 2. We're coming for you, motherfuckers. Blue Bet, BackChat bets. Right. I know you've all been waiting for this, and I have too. Fines. It's become a new favourite segment, which is saying something because social media is still a big part of this show, and it's it's the greatest podcasting segment of all time. But
sure,
fines.
You send it, we read. It's also up there.
Fines.
But fines, yes.
Right. If you want to send through a fine, go to the website. There's a form. You can fine anyone. You can fine yourself. You can fine Dan or I, Charlie.
We cop a lot of the fines.
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
Fine your mates.
That's fine. I feel fine about that. But I've seen people finding their mates in here, and we are keeping tracking of it, are we, Charlie? You writing these down, mate?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're all going into the money jar.
We need to put a big jar back here, and we need to be actually filling this up. Not sure. Do you carry coins? You seem like the sort of guy.
No.
Sure?
No.
Charlie, you carry coins?
Nah.
Cat? A couple.
Okay, it's okay, Charlie. Okay. Here we go. Let's get into it. Here's fines brought to you by absolutely nobody. Now, this is from Dino Meadows. Now, this is going to kick things off. This is the sort of attitude I'd like people to have. And
okay, let's go.
Look, it's directed at me, but I'll take it.
Good.
That's what you're going to be able to do. Explain why the fine was in order. $5. Oh, okay. For your consistent shit pronunciation of the word hello. It's hello, not hello. Get a grip, mate.
All right. I've never thought of it.
Get a grip, mate.
Yeah,
that's a little sidewinder
Put
there.
your head in.
So I say hello and not hello.
Yeah.
My apologies, Dane. I really do apologise, mate. I'll chuck $5 in the fine jar.
is big.
But get a grip, mate. There we go. This is from Drew Smith. Who gets it? Ryan Smith. Hopefully these are brothers. Very good, Drewy. For winning a prize on BackChat in January for a question for Greg Hire, but being too soft to give Will and Dan a nudge to pay up. Whoa. What are we talking about here?
I don't know.
What was the
I
prize?
remember this one. This was a prize for the best social question. I think Greg put him up himself.
That's exactly right. He said some sort of signed jumper.
I think it was signed Guernsey, yes.
That's
like
huge.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan. Yeah, you know what? Is his fine not getting the prize?
So Ryan got the prize. He's never hit us up about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Promise, Ryan, we will follow that up. While we're at it, this is still from Drew. A fine for Will and Dan for not paying up. Do I dare ask if there are others?
I hope not. I really hope not.
I mean, let us know. Fine us if you like, if you think there's more. This is from Gary Louie for Brendan Esmond. I love the fact that people are just finding the fuck out of people.
Take this, Brendan.
Okay, Brendan and I are among many people who have moved from around Australia to live in beautiful sunny Queensland. Queensland listeners.
Okay,
boys. One day at work, I was talking to Easy about footy, and he tells me that he's from Perth and that he used to play waffle. My eyes lit up, and I invited him down to my footy club for a kick so his talents could help us out. As it turns out, not only did Easy not play waffle, he never bloody played footy in his life. Easy left me embarrassed with stern words from the coach, never to bring a friend down to the club ever again. Jesus Christ, Easy. You can have a $5 for that, mate. That's just piss poor form, but I also like it.
Yeah, love
That's
it.
very good. Philip White, hello, Philip. He's fined himself. Well done, Phil. $2 fine. I wrote literally when I should have written figuratively. $2 for bad English.
Good.
Fair, Philip. Philip comes in again for Amy Tomo. 1, for driving such a cheap car that a minor fender bender wrote it off. $2. I literally feathered the car. The feather. The old Clayton Oliver feather. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And 2.
Yeah, I did pay my excess on time.
Do you know what he's talking about?
$2 slander. No.
So last week, we got a fine for Philip White Tarling because apparently, well, allegedly, he wrote off someone's car.
Is this like girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, wife? I hope it is.
Maybe. So they said that he rammed into their car and wrote it off, and then he never paid his excess. And we fined him for it. So now he's come back.
$2 for slander. I did pay my excess.
Oh.
I like all of that.
See,
Very
now
good.
this is where we get them both on the phone. They fight it out.
Bryce Angle. There we go. My man, Brycey, how are ya? Who gets the fine? Dan, even better. Having a head like a Nintendo Wii mini character.
Character.
$2. Oh, sorry, me character. Who gives a shit? $2 for you. And Brycey again for me, leaving me on red while we're in Perth. $2.
That's rough, mate.
Popular
Turn
guy.
your read notifications off, please.
I absolutely do not have them on, so that's a lie.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't do it. I mean, you'd know I wouldn't be replying to you when. From Bo Poley, this is for Rhodesy. Love the random finds again. This one, I'll decide how much this is for at the end of it. As you know, a lot of the country footy clubs chase a retired AFL player for a marquee game. You know, you've seen him. You got the Lance Whitnells running around. You got Favola. You got
Eddie
Dale
Betts
Thomas.
takes a screamer.
Dale Thomas looks like he's about to have an asthma attack out there. It's bad work. Well, we had Dane Swan head down for a game a couple of years ago. One of the senior boys who was off work on compo still decided to bravely put the hand up to play with a legend. Downside to his decision, his boss is a mad Collingwood fan who attended the game, saw him running around the field, never got a fine. So how much do you lads think that's worth? Big fan of the podcast. Oh, you can go on. It's almost a credit.
Yeah,
it's a credit. It's absolutely a credit.
Credits.
Absolutely a
That's
credit for not giving a shit if the coach, the boss is going to be down there. Very good. This is from Dale. Look, controversial Dale, but I'll take it. $2 fine for wearing a shirt promoting BackChat on Fox Footy, but not setting up the camera to read it. Now, Dale, just a little one. No, I'm not allowed to rebut.
Yeah, no, take the fine.
Do you think that I clip the camera work up, or do you think that's
Take
up to Fox
the fine.
Footy? God damn it,
no
$2.
responding.
Isaac Naretalis. This is for Casey Vandersluries.
These people sound made up.
I don't know. I feel like most of the time, and I don't know if I'm reading them well enough. But anyway, $2 fine to Casey. He doesn't listen to the pod because he thinks it's crap. It's probably not going to get through to him.
Nah.
But you can cop a $10 for that, Casey.
You know what? This might be a way to get a listener. Send him the episode.
Very good. And he can send us the $10.
Yep.
Bevan Howell, who gets a fine, Will and Dan. Okay, Bevan. Didn't ask Josh Kennedy the most important question straight up. His best sporting achievement not on the footy field.
I'm not copying that. I know we're not allowed to, but you jumped in heavy, and I was trying to reel us in a little bit. And get the question.
You'll cop it. You'll cop it. $5 to you, $2 to me because I just copped it. Sweet. For Mark Evans, whoever edits the podcast.
Yeah, right.
Is this you, Dan?
Let's read it out.
$5 fine to the editor for uploading episode 51 unfinished to patrons. Additional $5, considering the ep was recorded over a week ago. $5 each to Will and Dan for letting this happen.
Yep.
Very good. Okay.
Well, little did you know. No, whatever.
Yeah, it's good. You just got to take it, mate. It's a place for people to air their grievances.
Yes.
And
I will say, though, if you do want to listen to sometimes a dodgy version of the episode, jump onto Patreon.
No.
Sign up.
No.
I'm joking.
It comes out early on Patreon.
Someone that we're going to hook up with a bit of a something notified us and we fixed it.
Yeah, we had a little error when we uploaded. It goes up early on Patreon. One of our patrons hit us up, let us know, and we fixed it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Whoever that was, I can't remember. Do you remember his name?
I can't remember name. No.
He's a legend.
You know who you are,
Yep.
my man. All right, you send it, we read it. A couple of these to get through. Absolutely beautiful segment. You send it.
Will you read it?
There you go. Let's see how you go, mate. Just so you know, I just went through fines and I had maybe one error.
10
maybe.
errors, yeah.
Maybe. Jack Gabriellini. Jack Gabriellini. Is that better?
Garbellini.
Continue.
How's it? How's it going, Will and Dan? Apologies for the severe lack of underscores in my email. I'd like to get Will's thoughts on how we could possibly fit a State of Origin series in the footy calendar. Would it be possible with the grind of a regular season? And if so, could you name Western Australia's best 22? Cheers.
All right. So,
P.S. Love the potty.
yes, thank you very much, my man Jack. Haven't done the preparation for this, so I don't have the West Australian best 22.
Who would captain it? You probably.
I mean, there's some good players around. I love the astronaut, but he wouldn't captain it. But he'd be in there. Aaron Norton.
Yeah.
Look, there'd be some West Coast and Freo players in there. Clearly, I mean, we know that Josh Kennedy would not be in there. He's a Victorian.
Yuck.
Just because you play for a Western Australian team doesn't mean you're Western Australian. Look, there's some very good Western Australian guys running around. State of Origin, well, just happens to be that the guest coming up on today's show played in the last ever State of Origin in the AFL. So we might have to ask the same
Very
question.
true, he did.
Yep. So I think they could fit it in during the bye. We see what they do in rugby. That is like a beast to its own. But they will forego club commitments to make sure they get up the State of Origin, and they've got this whole culture around it, and that's happened over like 30, 40 years. That doesn't happen in the AFL. The problems would come around availability, injuries. Like every time they've done it, that's what's stopped it. The last one was for a bushfire appeal game, and so everyone made themselves available. But if you just did it in the middle of the season, maybe it's like the NFL and you do it in the pre-finals bye.
Yeah, right.
And
it
teams
excludes the grand final team members.
Or maybe we just reschedule the whole fixture, take the pre-finals bye out, put a bye after the prelim just for the grand finalists, and that's where you do it. And that's like a festival of footy, and the two grand final teams are out, and you have everyone else playing in it. That's what they do in the NFL. The All-Star games the week before the grand final. But if you did it the week
before grand final, then if you ask players, would you rather play in the State of Origin or the grand final? People go, I'll forego the State of Origin. I'll play the grand final.
Oh, yeah. No. People who are playing in the grand final won't play in the State of Origin.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
No, they will not be up for a selection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or not exactly. Like, they just pick a team with not those two teams in
it. Yeah, of course. Yep. All right.
Andrew, sometimes you just look at me with these eyes that I just feel like you're not on the same page as me.
No.
You're doing it now.
Taking it in.
Andrew Vittalins. That's right. He sends it and he will read it, baby. And he will come and say good day at the pool. Saw Andrew today.
Yeah, great.
He just came up, sent emails in. Andrew Vittalins. Knew exactly who it was. What a beautiful stuff.
BD Park. Great place to just...
Bit of a celeb hangout.
Catch up with...
Yeah, the BackChat celebs hang down there.
Hi, Dan and Scully. Does the Sir Doug Nicholls rounds 10 and 11, lose a bit of its luster by not having any games played in Alice Springs and Cairns? Has the AFL scheduling missed an opportunity promoting Indigenous heritage and culture by not fixturing the Collingwood-Carlton match at one of those venues? Kind regards, Andrew Vittalins.
I reckon it's Vittalins. Yeah, I think he's making a good point. I think Sir Doug Nicholls round, Indigenous round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the Guernseys start to be revealed.
Correct.
A couple of good ones I've seen.
I don't think you can, unfortunately, Andrew, I don't think you can put Collingwood-Carlton out there. It's too much of a big money earner to put a game that's going to get 80, maybe to 100,000 people at the G, at Alice Springs that may get 10,000 people.
Unless the government put up the money to...
Yeah, correct, which I don't think would happen, but you can certainly get other games out there. They definitely should be doing that. It's a good point, Andrew. Well raised, very good. Daniel Jones, McGovern robbed by umps.
I thought it was Daniel Johns for a second. I thought, it's the Silverchair lead singer.
In a straight line.
McGovern robbed by umps. Boys, what's your take on the McGovern holding the ball incident against the Demons, which cost West Coast Eagles a goal, and Petrarca knew he got lucky and served Govs with a shh as he ran back to the middle? Should the umps be more accountable for shithouse decisions like this one? Can you discuss on the podcast? Cheers, Dan.
Did he give a shh? Did he? Did you see this, Charlie?
I didn't see the shh.
There was a bit of that, yeah.
What, a bit of a,
yeah.
Oh, don't like that.
Yeah.
Don't like that at all, Petrarca. Christian, I don't like that at all. I do know the incident though. Basically,
quickly give it a... Yep.
Gov takes the mark. If you didn't see it, McGovern takes the mark. He gets back off his mark. He doesn't play on. Petrarca's in the area when he marks it, but he's not leaving.
And he's not the man on the mark,
he's not the man on the mark. He is leaving, but then Gov turns, doesn't move off his mark. Petrarca takes a step towards him to block and smother. No 50. Adversely, gets called to play on.
Yes. Gets
tackled, throws the ball out of bounds, deliberate out of bounds. Petrarca gets it, kicks a goal, snaps it, and apparently shushes him.
And on top of that, McGovern arms up like he was... if anything, there should have been 1 or 2 50-metre penalties paid there.
It was then dissentful to the decision.
Yeah, of course.
It was umpire recognition round, this round. We just had D-Mar gets on the show.
That for me was the definition of going at an umpire, but it was completely warranted. Horrible decision.
How do you find the balance between when such an awful decision is made and you just, completely nullifying any emotion showed by players? I don't think it can be done. Like, if you're a fan, I understand a lot of people say, well, why don't you just, it's your job, just take it on the chin.
Yep.
But there's a lot riding on it for these guys. And it's in an environment that you need to be able to make decisions very quickly. Now, that's the same for umpires, right? That's why mistakes are made. But it was a big mistake.
Huge.
Like if McGovern's running into an open goal 1 metre out from goal and he kicks it across the face out of bounds on the full, that's the same sort of error. Like it was impossible to miss.
Yeah.
Missed it. And if Gov did that, it'd be all over the papers talking about, look at this absolute idiot's running into an open goal, misses the goal. Well, same can be said for that umpire.
I've said this before, and a lot of people got on board with it. This is where you need the big red button, the coach's challenge. Adam Simpson would have gone whack. The whole Optus Stadium would have been red lights flashing like crazy. Maybe there's flames going up in the air.
Who's the host of with the briefcases? Andrew O'Keefe?
Yeah.
For some reason, I just feel like Andrew O'Keefe comes down
he's in jail.
Yeah, but they get him out of jail, put him on a zip line, and he's wearing a suit. He's like,
zips in
the red button, and here's the replay.
So much theatre. I love it.
Nathan, and I'll say this clearly, Dunt with a D, not the letter before that.
All right. So am I reading this or are you?
I'm reading this. I forgot all about. Yeah, this is amazing. I'm absolutely reading this. Now, listen up. I know this is a You Send It, We Read It, and Dan usually reads these, but I'm reading this
Which I've done perfectly, might I add.
Yeah, you actually have. Congratulations. There have been 52 episodes before you've done that. G'day, fellas. Had a bit of an interest. There you go, the first hour. Had a bit of an interest in your podcast and probably listened to every second or third one. Wow, sounds like you're really getting into it, Nathan. Thank you. However, I'm inundated with your content on TikTok. So well done on that front. Thank you.
BackChat _.
Well done. This is also the only reason why I have any idea what Dan Const looks like. So it came as a great shock to me when I was entering one of Highgate's finest bakeries cafes and saw Dan Const himself live in the flesh. This was a mildly interesting occasion at most. You could say interaction. Something I'd probably never think about after the moment until I saw Dan trip on the way out, holding his footing, but absolutely pelting the coffee and pie that he had in his hands all over the street and letting out a loud but surprisingly high-pitched shriek, with the result looking reminiscent of a crime scene. He must have been staring at the pavement for 5 to 10 seconds before gingerly returning to buy another coffee and pie. He didn't even have the humility to refuse the offer from the owner to go uncharged for the second order, which I'm sure this nice lady was offering just to be polite and move the middle-aged pie dropper away from her establishment. It seems Dan believes others should have to pay for his mistakes in life as a 30-something-year-old man. Disgraceful. When he received another pie and coffee, he scurried out of the bakery like a guilty Labrador. Not sure he even said thanks or sorry. Will Dan... Okay, so there's a question at the end. This is too good. This is well written. Will Dan go back to the bakery and pay the $9.50 he owes the poor establishment? Over to you, Daniel.
There's a lot of flaws in this email.
You tripped over one.
Okay. Here's the thing. All right, so this email, the only thing that got me intrigued by this email was, one, the subject, which pops up on my phone, and it was Dan Const exposed. And I'm thinking, oh God, what have I done?
Oh no, they've found it.
They've discovered it.
Yeah.
Then he mentions me going to a cafe and getting coffee, which is quite normal, and also going to a cafe in Highgate because I live near there.
Yes.
So here's what I think has happened, Nathan.
Has this story happened? Did this happen?
100% not true.
I don't believe you.
So I think Nathan has spotted me at a cafe in Highgate and thought, how can I get creative and write a story with some slander and libel for myself?
Right.
Because the cafes that I've gone to in Highgate, I'm usually with my kids. There's no mention of me with my kids.
No, you're too busy holding your pie and your sausage roll and your bloody coffee at the cafe.
I also don't buy a pie. I'm not a pie eater. Okay. I'm a sausage roll man every time. Okay.
Okay.
I also wouldn't have gone in and made them pay for me to get a fresh one. Okay, if I do you know what? I probably wouldn't have even gone back in. I would have been like, oh well, wasn't meant to be. I'll go home. So there are parts of this story that have very good things in there to make it sound like it's very true. I can guarantee 100% that never ever happened unless this happened 5 years ago and I can't remember it. But it sounds like it's a recent thing and it definitely did not happen.
Charlie, I'm going to give you the last verdict on this, mate. Did it happen or not? Because I just think it's full of shit.
It sounds true to me. It's just, who's admitting to this?
That's unreal stuff, Nathan. That's just beautiful stuff. And look, mate, you can just make our own coffees. We've got Margaret River Roasting Co. here. You can just make them
I'll
here.
make one after this.
Very good, Nathan. Very, very good stuff. That's it. You send it, we read it. All done and dusted. We're getting you ready for our next big guest, Bradley Sheppard, coming up now. All right, introductions aren't really a thing we do here on BackChat, so we just get straight into it. We are joined by the great man himself, Brad Sheppard. He's played over 200 games of AFL footy. Not many goals, I will say that. We'll get into that in a little bit. All-Australian,
Whack straight away.
best clubman at West Coast, player of a final series. He's done a lot on the AFL field, and he joins us now on BackChat. G'day, Sheppo.
Thanks for having me.
How are you, mate?
Going well. Just recovered from a week in ISO through COVID.
Oh, boy.
Great to be here. My first commitment out of the isolation, so no better way to do so.
Now, we do thank you for coming in. So we do one question off the top that we've left out of the rundown again, Dan, but I have remembered what we did.
There. I saw it.
I missed it. It's the first question we ask every guest. Right, we know you've done a lot of things on the footy field. I just touched on a few and we'll touch on some more going forward. But we do like to ask our guests, footy's great, but what's the greatest sporting achievement you've ever had or ever done, or greatest sporting feat not on the football field? I know you're a master of many talents. I know you taught yourself up as a cricketer.
It's a long list.
Golf, like he's a good golfer.
Actually, yes.
Straight to it.
I've got one straight away.
So give people a bit of time to think about it. But
yeah, I've got one straight away. It's come to mind. So I won't put cricket in there as well because there's a couple of cricketers. Cricket memories and stories there, but. There's probably one at the age of 13 years of age.
Perfect.
Playing in a golf tournament, male and female, at Collier Park. And my cousin Mitch, he was playing in it as well. And there's only about, I reckon, 10 kids in this whole golf tournament.
Was it a kids tournament or was it an open tournament?
Yeah, it was open up to the age of 13. I reckon most people there were the age of 13.
That's
anyway.
Like a 25-year-old just being 30.
Anyway, yes, 25-year-olds. Anyway, so throughout the course of the day, having a stink around, had a good last two holes, which somehow come out of the clouds and won this tournament.
Yes.
And to receive the award, you had to get up on stage and in front of all the kids, all the families, the parents there, and receive, which I got a putter at the time. And as I got up on stage, the bloke who was presenting me with the award said, "I'd like to thank everyone to come out to support and watch all the kids and participants today." And he handed over me the microphone, but I thought he said, "Say what I said." So I grabbed the golf putter and I said, "First of all, I'd just like to thank everyone for coming out and watching me today. It means a lot." As 13, and then walked off the stage, didn't say anything else, and everyone was like shocked, laughing. Is he joking or is this real? So that's the story.
There you go.
And I've still got that putter.
So what does that make you? The under 13 Collier Open champion?
Yes, I think so.
I really love how Shep's attacked off the top. I mean, some people I can see in their eyes they don't know where to go with it. They're like, I don't know what I should. I was a footy player. That's my entire personality.
The thing that shocked me most was the putter was worth $30 and the second prize was a $60 golf box voucher. So I don't know if winning was a great thing.
I think I'm most impressed that there was like a bunch of family members to watch 13-year-olds play golf. Like
my mum was a caddy actually. Raylene was a caddy.
Really?
Yep. So she was there for support.
Okay, very good. She's been
probably should have thanked her straight away.
She's been there from a very early age, Raylene, supporting you. So that's good. So you mentioned your cousin Mitch. So for those who have been hiding under a hole, your cousins Mitch and Sean Marsh, Australian cricketers. Was cricket ever an option for Bradley Sheppard?
I'd like to think so.
You played state under 17s for Western Australia?
Yes, I played state 17s and was in the state 19 squad as a 16-year-old, but chose to play football or do a pre-season at East Fremantle. But yeah, cricket was always a passion of mine. It was always obviously in the family, and it's probably played as a junior more cricket than football. And I always thought if I was ever going to play a professional sport, cricket was always going to be the way. But so be it. You know, I went down the footy path, probably at that age, a lot better in footy than I was at cricket, albeit you sort of cricketers, you don't really develop till your mid-20s, I feel. So it's sort of a bit of the unknown, but yeah. Who knows, mate? It could have been for WA. We've been good playing for WA this year with the success.
Let's just think about it. So you grew up around Mitch and Sean, right? So you play backyard cricket, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Oh, would you say you can match it with them, or?
Yeah, well, I used to have the mental edge over Mitch. Yeah, he was my bunny. I was a bowling all-rounder. So when we used to play against Sean was a batter, and we used to bowl to him days on end, and if he ever got out, which he never did, he would just walk off and storm off. So we were just happy to be, because he's 8 years older than what Mitch and I are. So
you're the same age.
Mitch and I are the same age. So we would bowl to Sean, and then when it was Mitch and myself, it'd be highly competitive out in the tennis court. And they had actually a bowling machine cricket net at their property in Jandakot. So you can imagine young kids coming in. We used to always get the bowling machine on about 140, 145 clicks with a tennis ball. So it would come out rapid, hit the pitch, and then slow up so much that you just bamboozle you.
Moving everywhere as well.
Yeah.
Would have been like facing Dan Const in under 12. Where did you play?
Leggies. Chewett Hill Cricket Club.
Yes.
There you go. Chewett Hill Lions. Oh. Yeah. I mean, if you got to bring it up, I mean, there is my trophy there from bowling 5 wickets for 12. 5 for 16 in a grand final. And that's the ball. Yeah, they saved the ball, made a trophy out of it.
And they lost. 5 for 16 and they lost.
Yeah, I think I just cleaned up the tail, but doesn't matter. Did what I had to do.
Do you ever think about, I know you played footy and you would have earned good money, but cricketers with the IPL coming in started to earn some pretty decent money. You know, your cousins are a part of that. Do you ever think about what it would have been like if you had gone down the cricket path?
Probably more so.
All jokes aside.
Yeah,
right?
Probably more so now. I think any kid coming through the system, you're probably erring on the side of, if you've got the talent to potentially play professional cricket, you'd probably go that avenue, because there's so many different leagues throughout the world. When I had to make that decision, there was no IPL, there's no 2020 cricket. It was just, you play for WA, and if you're good enough to be in the best 15 cricketers in Australia, to play for Australia, the incentive's there. But to get to that stage, it was quite hard, as opposed to footy as 18-year-olds. You can pretty much make an impact, make a living then and there. So, we'll probably, I can't say it'd be a different decision, but I'd have more thought into it, because I knew that if I went down the cricketing path, I wasn't going to make it as an 18, 19-year-old. It's probably more long-term prospect.
Not everyone has a bowling machine in their backyard.
Yeah, I know.
That's elite. No wonder I didn't make it. I didn't have the gear.
There was a couple of other reasons you didn't make it. Right, so a big topic at the moment at West Coast is the lack of talent that is coming through the club. I think it is anyway. Lack of top 10 draft picks, lack of junior talent. There seems to be a void of that. But you were one of a top 10 draftee back in the day, number 7.
Yes, number 7.
Back pocket. So you say you drafted as a back pocket, but you start your career as a forward, mate.
Yeah, I think a midfielder initially. I think they thought they were picking up Chris Judd, or trying to pick up Chris Judd, but how far from the truth that was.
Well, so you get drafted top 10, so high-end talent. And I look back to that time. What year? 2009 you get drafted.
Yep.
So 2010 we win the wooden spoon, so thanks for bringing that along. Appreciate that. But I do look at that time, right, and so people are comparing it, I think, a bit. West Coast are going to go close to being one of the worst sides in the competition this year. But you look at that period and you have a Brad Sheppard added to the list. You have Andrew Gaff, Jack Darling, Nick Natanui, Luke Shuey, Shannon Hearn, Josh Kennedy, Will Schofield. You have Eric McKenzie. You got a big list of high-end talent that I think maybe back at the time you could see the high-end talent, which is lacking now. But coming in as a top 10 draft pick, is there any pressure? Do you do start getting played as a forward sort of consistently at that period of time? What's the mindset when you come into the club?
Yeah, well, I actually debuted round 7 in my first year, which is, it's pretty early on for a draftee, and I probably would have never been in that position if the club wasn't where it was at that time. Lost a few games early, and I think with the injury list we had at that time, there was a lot of pressure externally to play the kids, and luckily enough, I was one of those kids coming through. So I think my first game, it was against Hawthorn at home, and my first bit of play on the ground was in a centre bounce. So I started, my first ever taste at AFL level was in the centre bounce.
Did you?
Yeah. So
Can you remember who was in there with you?
Who was it? I reckon Scott Selwood would have been there. Luke Shuey, Nick Nat, and I reckon myself. I don't know how. I think I started on the bench, so someone would have come off for me to come on. But
go to?
Yeah, I was trying to call the shots for my first game. But in the build up to that, I was playing for East Fremantle. I was playing in the midfield itself, and then resting at halfback. So I was sort of rotating between the two. But that's sort of that pressure to play as a high draftee and to perform early in your career. I definitely felt that, and I think externally people expect you to come in and make all the difference. And you sort of, I know for me it took a lot longer than expected, but speaking to everyone around me, they drafted on potential. It wasn't about the then and now. You look at my body shape, you might laugh. It probably didn't change too much in the course of my career. I was still skinny at the end, but just I wasn't mature enough. My body didn't really quite handle AFL football. Obviously, as well, the confidence you need to play at the AFL level. If you're not playing your best every week, and as a junior and at waffle level, you build up that barrier of confidence because you've done the work. You're starring every week, and then you go to a level that you've never been to before, and you just think it's going to roll on. You're going to star every week, but when it doesn't, just coping with that feeling that where do you go to next? Because you always been at the top when you're on the list. I know as an early draft pick, you're probably number 46 on the list when you first come into a footy club, and accepting where you're at. It took me definitely a couple of years to figure that out. And I think that's probably the biggest potential obstacle for people coming into the system, just being real with where you're at that time. It might take you 2 or 3 years, might take you 4 years even, but being honest with yourself and trust the people around you of their opinions as well. Because if you have too much expectation on yourself, it just builds pressure, and the more pressure keeps building, you're not actually growing as a player. So I think the best thing I can say to a younger self is just listen to a lot more people around you at that time. I was more, this is my way, so I'm going to do it. Just listen to people there and just embrace the journey, because it's going to have so many ups and downs. And for the first part of my career, it had a lot of that.
One thing about your first game that stood out, you were not part. You didn't get suspended, but you copped a tackle that someone copped 2 weeks for.
Chance Bateman,
yeah,
ragdolled.
He
clipped me. He clipped me with his elbow.
Yeah. So was that like, oh shit, like this is your first game and you're just already getting into it?
Yes. I think that definitely. No, I got clipped on the chin. I was like, who was that? Oh, no, Chance Bateman, just stand back.
Dan won't know. So Chance Bateman later returned to West Coast Eagles as a coach.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Did you speak to him about it?
Changa, yep. I spoke to him a couple of times. He doesn't remember too much, so he obviously thought highly of himself as a player. He was like, who is this bloke? But he got me good, and he deserved his whack 2 weeks. He should have got 4. Dirty player, Changa.
So, kind of just hearing you speak about your mindset, I think you've always, sometimes it can be negative, not my way or the highway, but you've been strong-willed throughout your career, and I think mostly positive. So you've spoken about, I guess, the negative of growing as a young player, but when you start to establish yourself as you did, that strong-willed probably was your success, the reason why you're able to drive yourself to be as fit as you are and get yourself to contests. But I remembered as you were speaking about, this is early days, right, Dan? 2000. I could have been 2010, 2011. I used to be able to kick out. They used to let me kick out, right? So they used to give Scully the ball.
Possessions.
Used to give Scully the ball and let me kick out. And we're playing the Dockers in a derby, and wasn't going too well. And we're Freo peppering the scoreboard, and they kick a point. Scully gets the ball, kicks it straight down. Freo Dockers. It could have been Michael Johnson. It could have been Hayden Valentine for all I know. Kicked it straight to a Fremantle player. Anyway, he plays on, snaps, misses. Like, whew, thank God. I get the ball out of the bag again, right? All right, here we go again. I go, okay, I'm gonna try and go for one again. Bang, Fremantle Docker straight down his chest again. So as he's gone back for a set shot this time, and a very young Brad Sheppard, first or second year, playing in the midfield probably, has come down to me, who I'm fourth, fifth player, and just said, mate, I'll be kicking out next time. So he goes back, kicks her behind, and Shep goes to get the ball. And it was a moment I always remember, because I was like, Shep went and got the ball, and I was like, give me the fucking ball. Like, I'm an older player here. Who the fuck you? Get out of it. And to Shep's credit, he let me kick out again. I went, played on, kicked long down the line, Fremantle, bang, smacked it down, Freo, handball around, kicked it straight over my head for a goal. And I remember Shep just running back to the centre of the bounce, just looking at me. Said nothing.
That's good.
Just like nothing above it. Do you remember that? Do you remember?
Nah, too many concussions going. I do remember. I do remember that moment. Yes, I do. Yeah, so I always thought, you're larger than life as a youngster. You got no worries in the world. So just go, mate. Just chucks a footy here. I'll take it from you. Mind you, I probably wouldn't have done much better. I actually never got the license to kick in, even after my 12 years. Never kicked in. You can see the guys kicking out. It's Hearn, Witherden, Gov always put his hand up to kick in. There was those three, and they were the only three players.
You know what Shep was doing? Shep was trying to get the first nice little mark.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He used to lead the league in marks, Brad.
Until kicking out, you just play out of the square. You don't have to kick it to yourself. You just run out and even kick that short one.
Then you're interested.
I was very, very interested.
It's probably a good time to touch on. So you play 216 games in your career. Cut short, you have to retire, concussion, but we will touch on that later. 216 games, just the 19 goals, Shep.
Yep.
Played quite a bit of time as a forward. And you just scraped
only a couple of games.
Just scraped out 19 goals.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of goals, mate. At all.
Yes. Well, when I was playing forward, I played with a pretty formidable forward line. There was Mark Lacroix at his prime, Josh Kennedy there. Coxie was spending a lot of time forward.
Quinton Lynch would have been hanging
Lynchy
out
there.
Stage. What were you doing?
I don't think Brad Sheppard as a target going inside 450 was high priority for the half-backers streaming. So yourself streaming out of the back line.
You would have been a crumbing type high.
I was a fat side half forward that used to patrol the fat side of the ground, and my role was just defend and cover off defensively. Don't even think about getting the footy. Don't even look at the footy. Just try and cover space. So I used to get judged on kilometres run a game and the running patterns as opposed to getting the footy. And I used to knock up some huge kilometres and get about 6-7 touches, and as a pat on the back. Well played today.
Great job, Sheppy.
Great job.
Do you remember the last goal you kicked?
Yes, it would have been late in the year. 2020, I reckon.
Yep. Yeah. Do you remember which round? I know it. I'm just testing you.
Shep will know.
Hawthorn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah. He's trying to pretend like he's thinking about it, but he knew straight off the bat. Yeah, round 12 against the Hawks.
And then I think there's one round 11 as well.
There was. That's what I was going to ask you. So you hadn't kicked a goal since 2017.
You kicked 19 goals in your career, so there's two right there.
So 2017 was the last time you kicked the goal. Then in 2020, you go 2 in 2 rounds.
Yep.
What was...
Well, I think as my role in the side grew, I was probably playing a lot deeper than initially I was in the first part of my career, and I'll have those matchups, and generally speaking, they play pretty close to the goal. That day, the first one I kicked was against Eddie Betts in 2020. He was playing pretty deep, and he wasn't getting a touch that day, and he kept creeping up, and I just knew that if I get hold of him long enough, he's going to end up going inside out 450. So I just do your hard work now, and the old saying, you'll get your lick of the ice cream. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
And funnily enough, he went inside our forward 50 and got a quick kick out, and there I was. I had to wrestle three blokes, but I can't believe it wasn't goal of the year, to be honest with you. I had three blokes hanging off me, and it was a snap from 45.
Do you want to talk us through the other 18, mate?
As a backman, you almost remember every goal.
Yeah.
I just remember, because I watched the video today. Round 11, that goal against Carlton, everyone got around you like it was your first goal ever. Like there was absolute scenes after you kicked that goal, so it was a big deal. But I didn't see any video of the round 12 one. I don't know if it wasn't that spectacular, but
it was been a long time between drinks, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the stock standard.
Yeah,
goal tackle. But
exactly about every goal.
One thing I did know, because it was getting played throughout the media for a couple of weeks, that my odds came in for the Coleman after that second goal.
No.
Odds came.
You entered the actual.
I think
round
the
12
for the Coleman.
After 2 goals, they thought you were sneaking up the ground from full back.
I think you were 232nd in the Coleman at that point.
He jumped 132 spots in the Coleman.
There you
go.
Well done, mate. I'll probably credit where credit's due. It's a good little
That's a good stat there. Yeah. I'll be using that one.
So yeah, well done, Charlie. Jokes aside, again. So you do play some time as a high half forward under Woosha, probably. Is it fair to say that Simo coming to the club, not turn your career around, but new direction for you?
Yeah, absolutely. At that stage of my career, I was getting thrown around a fair bit. I think my best footy was always behind the ball, but when Mark Lacroix went down up forward, when Mark Nikoski went down up forward, and I wasn't getting a game in the back line because we had such a strong back line, I thought I was never going to play AFL footy because there's no way I'm going to dislodge Will Schofield, Bo Waters, like Darren Glass, Shannon Hearn. Like my role in the team, there isn't a role. So I put my hand up as a young impatient player. I put my hand up, say I want to put my craft. I want to learn the forward craft, and I want to play forward. To Woosh's, I guess, a little bit of dismay at the time because he wanted me as a backman, but he wanted me to do my apprenticeship in the Waffle, and I wanted to play AFL. That I managed to play forward, and yeah, it was a difficult time for myself because not naturally a forward. I played forward in my junior footy, but I was a centre forward. I was the target as opposed to running patterns, and I found it hard with form, confidence, battling a few injuries at the time, and you sort of leave yourself like where do I fit in the whole scheme of things? But then Woosh left and Simo came in, and one of Simo's first conversations he had with myself was, I see you as a backman, you're training with the back line this pre-season, and if you do the work, I'll play you round 1. And that was probably the confidence and belief I needed at that time. And I felt like I had a really strong pre-season, and come round 1, and I didn't get selected round 1.
No, really?
Yeah, Jamie Bennell got selected over me.
Really?
Yeah, so that was probably another thing for myself. I think you either go two ways. You sulk and you say, oh, no, this is crap, why me? Oh, I should be playing, or you just do something about it. And luckily for that time, I had a good attitude and went down to the Waffle and had a really strong game at halfback, playing against Peel, your mob, down at Rushton. And
usually a good day down at Peel.
Yeah, it was that day actually. And then pretty much since round 2, never looked back. Just playing at half. Initially it was a half back line, and then as sort of got more, Simo and the coaching group got more confidence in myself. We had Sam Butler playing as that lockdown defender. Once he sort of moved on, that was, I guess, my role.
What's the biggest difference? And this is going to sound like a dumb question, but like playing in the back line and then you're like, well, I'll put my hand up and try to go forward. Like, what's the biggest difference or the biggest adjustment? Obviously, you're trying to kick goals instead of stopping them, but like the football, like what are you having to do that's so different that's like, oh man, it's a big adjustment?
I think as a forward, you got to make the play. You got to see the play unfolding, and you got to anticipate where the footy's going earlier to get a split on your opponent. And it's not easy, especially if the ball movement isn't moving freely. It's hard for a forward. You're relying on the people up the field, your teammates up the field to kick it to you and kick it well. Because if miss kick, you might do all the work in the world, but it goes unrewarded. So I found it hard because you might be getting split or whatever reason, and you're not getting the footy. You're like, yeah, I found that difficult. But then behind the footy, you get yourself in a good position, and whether you're defending one-on-one or if you find yourself in a good position, you can almost read where the footy's going to go, and you can always watch the opposition kicker's eyes, and you're always in a position to impact. And then I feel like you got the reason why I love being a back, and you get 2 chances to impact the play. You get in the contest itself, but then to try and turn it over, but then you get a chance to when you win the footy back, if you're smart with your running patterns, you can get a look on the way out. So it's a good double play to sort of impact the contest and game.
So you move solidly into the back line. 2015, we end up playing in a grand final. So that year is the Weagles Web. So we've spoken to a few boys about that. We had Sheppard Wellingham on the podcast, had Sam Butler on the podcast, Tommy Barras. No, he wasn't involved in that. But you played a really important part that year in developing that way of defending, and you probably were more of a higher intercepting player than you probably moved towards the back end of your career. Very similar to me, actually. Just had you up the ground running and carrying, and then as you get older, you just move slowly back to the back. How do you reflect on 2015? You play in the final series, player of the finals, playing a grand final, lose. How's 2015 as a whole reflecting on that?
Yeah, that was a really special year for the whole footy club. That was a year where, talk about adversity, we were building as a group, but as a group, we hadn't really done anything for a while. And then it's in the pre-season, Mitch Brown, Mackenzie go down. So it was a bit of caution in the wind. I think Adrian Hickmont was the defensive coach at the time, and you were there, Sco. It was just the way from where we started the year, it was like, I think round 1 or 2, the way we defended, we sort of knew that it probably wasn't going to work if we kept defending like that. And then it just kept growing week to week about whether it is because we had a lot of guys playing down there, played not traditionally backman. A lot of guys played forward, and so the way they see the footy, as opposed to dour defenders, like they're attacking defenders. And it's all about reading the cues of the game and just reading the cues off each other and just trusting each other. So we never actually had an opponent behind the footy. And I felt like it was a great way to play because, if a 4 kicks a goal, it's not on you, it's on the back 6. Yeah. So it felt like you could even be even more aggressive with your positioning because, there's no real consequence. And I felt like the scoring chains were getting off because we used to intercept the footy a lot by playing that way. The offense and scoring chains we got off the back of that was huge. And no side, especially playing at Subi on a narrower oval where it was easy to guard space, we just felt like we were ahead of the competition in that stage. And to be a part of that, to be able to play on guys that are 170 centimetres small, and then in the same, about 5 minutes later, you're standing next to Nick Rewalt, who's 198, but it doesn't matter who you are in the back line, you just get the job done. And we always relied on each other to help out in the air or on the ground. So it was a great way to play, and really exciting time for the footy club because that was the first time where I think as a playing group you could sense the real momentum if you really commit to a cause and really want to get better and play with some flair and natural instinct, then you can go anywhere. And we sort of did that, albeit got found out on the final stage, final leg of that season. But to get to the grand final was pretty special, and to be part of that 2015 grand final week, missed 18, but to say that I did the grand final parade and got to play on the biggest stage was something that was pretty special.
Before we get to the more of the actual game day of 2015, I know like the players that we've had on, and even you, Scott, you don't really like to refer to the Weagles Web thing. Like
I just call it that because
there's a bit of a media.
That's what people know.
There's a bit,
Jared,
it was like
Jared Healy coined it that. I think.
Yeah, it was like a thing that came out in the media. But how much of that was purely just like, was it just all developed in pre-season and then the coaches come to the defenders and go, okay, this is what we're doing? Or like, do you have like meetings and then like you pitch in, like, I think we should be trying a bit more of this? Like, how does that even work, that defensive scheme?
I'll give you a little bit. Like, it was my most enjoyable year of footy by far because, pretty much like Shep said, the first couple of weeks we just got towed up and we're defending back shoulder and we're getting pulled apart because we lost our 2 key defenders. So it was like, well, we either do that or we start being aggressive. And look, if we still get towed up, at least we're taking it to the opposition. So how that year, like every year's different, how that year came together was we'd sit down and pick apart every game and can you be more aggressive? Can you help your teammate more? It wasn't about can you beat Nick Rewalt? Can you stop him kicking goals? It was about, how can I help Brad Sheppard? How can Brad Sheppard drop off his man to get an intercepted ball in front of me, or press up to your man, or, just, it was all about everyone else.
Yep.
I don't think.
Absolutely. And a great person to be in that role was Adrian Hickmott. So he was a great facilitator at that time because he empowered the players. So the players actually drove the meetings about where we feel we should be standing. And he had his opinions and where he thought as well. But it would always come to a middle ground. And if it was a middle ground, it would always be on the players' side because we're the ones out there. We could feel what was happening. And
he spoke a lot about footy gods, Adrian Hickmott. He always thought that if you did the right thing and you put yourself in the right positions, the footy gods would actually look after everything else. There's the footy gods. Yeah, put yourself in the right spot and that ball bounces in front of you. If you're in the right spot, it's going to bounce the right way. Right. There's no rules steadfast. You don't have to do this in that position or do that in that position. Just put yourself in the best spot. Footy gods will look after you.
And he was big about the attacking side as defenders in terms of if you can get two hands to a footy, mark it. Like, I don't want to say spoils. If you can mark it, you mark it. If you fumble a ground ball, instead of being harsh on you as a player, be like, why'd you fumble? That's your one for the game. Good. I've seen you take the next 9 clean. So you sort of, if you made a mistake whilst he was a line coach, you knew that you would never worry about it, and it gave you peace as a player to even go for things that you probably wouldn't normally go to because you had the license to be attacking, have that attacking positive mindset.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of confidence in the playing group.
So Hickmott was sort of the
He's now at Hawthorn under Sam Mitchell.
So was he sort of the creator of the Weagles Web?
No, it's player driven.
Yeah, right.
But you need a strong invigilator to be able to do what Shep's talking about, which is provide that confidence for players to drive that. Otherwise, if the coach doesn't lead and the players don't have the confidence, then it's just a wish-wash and who knows what anyone's doing. But he was really big on, you guys are going to drive this and I'm going to back you in whatever you do, but the pressure's on you then. We knew that was on us. If it didn't work, it was on us. But if it did work, it was on us too.
I'd love to know some schemes that coaches have come up with in the preseason that have just flopped horribly. We're going to push everyone forward for the first 5 minutes. No one in the backfield. I don't know, just things like that where they watch film and they're like, this is a genius scheme. If we do this, we will win.
Who do you think of any? I'm trying to think of any throughout. So what happened with that year? We did that for that year and it worked so well, but then you need to keep getting better, right? If you just do the same thing forever, people figure it out. So I remember the year after we tried to start adding some rules in so it could be taught to younger players.
Right.
There was a lot of intuition. There was a lot of feel, understanding I knew what Shep was going to do, so I stood on this side of my man.
You can't transfer
You can't teach that. So we tried to put some rules in place and the whole system blew up.
I'm just thinking of the Golden State Warriors in the NBA. They thought, let's get rid of the center. We'll put a guy who's 6'7" at center and we'll play everyone small, shoot lots of threes, and then it just changed the game.
So they did that.
And they won a bunch of championships.
I mean, the ones that they do it and it doesn't work, that you don't remember them because they usually win in spoons and you don't understand it.
Yeah.
All right, so 2015, what's that grand final? What do you remember about the actual grand final day? You played well.
Yeah, the grand final days. I just really wanted to enjoy the experience. So getting up there early pre-game and really taking in the surroundings. There was the grand final sprint from memory going on. You just being part of being there and being present of what's going on, as opposed to, because I'm quite an anxious player pre-game. I used to get quite anxious until the warm-up starts. And then once the warm-up started, I was fine. So I just wanted to try and put myself at ease as much as I can by just being there and present with what's going on pre-game. But the game itself, what I can remember is we had our moments, as bad as it's saying that, we got beaten by 40, 50 points in the first quarter. Wasn't that great scoreboard, but I felt like we were in the game for long periods of time, and it could have gone. There was moments there within the game if we made the most of those opportunities, and I still reckon it could have been a different result because it felt like Hawthorn were tiring in that third quarter. But it was a great experience, and to be able to 100,000 people. One thing, but I think it was the second quarter where Hodgie kicked that goal from the boundary, left footer,
Yeah, don't look at me, mate. I was right. I was right.
Were you
there,
there?
mate.
I was like, was it you?
Do you still have a rolled ankle from that?
I rolled my ankle. You know the shooting stars meme? Where
Yeah.
I'd be still sliding into the abyss, mate.
No, that was a memory because I wasn't far from it. I was standing behind, and just that roar of the Hawthorn crowd, everyone to their feet. That was a moment that I'll never forget. It was a moment where I wish I could forget that. To be there in that moment, it was actually pretty special to watch. Big goal, big stage, and just that the atmosphere that the G presents itself in a big game. But yeah, there weren't too many celebrations post that for us. But we had, like I said, I think takeaway moments within the game where we let ourselves down. I actually thought throughout majority of the game we held ourselves in good stead, and then just the damn wall broke, unfortunately, at the end.
I reckon Shep might be the first person we've spoken to this, in a year when we've brought up 2015 that's been has some slight, not positive, but not all. Some people that we've had on, it's want to completely forget 2015, but it's probably the most positive I've heard someone talk about it.
Yeah, and it's real though. Shep's reflections are real. It's just, I guess, just different perceptions of how you look at a game and how you think about it and what you do want to remember. But exactly what Shep's saying is correct. Yeah. It's just some people don't want to remember it and some do. And, so 15 happens, we do that. 16 and 17 you build, and we go to 18. You have great season, play every game that year. And I mean, I think the discussion we're about to have, it's pretty. It comes up with me a lot. I'm sure it comes up with you a lot. 2018 qualifying final. My year for 2018 was a bit of a rough one. I lost my best mate at the start of that year. Had my first child, Nash, and I'm in the team last round of the year. Think we're going to the flag together. Get a call from Simo on the Thursday, and think he's ringing for my matchup. And and he tells me we're going with someone younger. So he was telling me he was going with TB basically. Instead, it was out of me and TB to play that game.
Which game is this?
Collingwood qualifying final. Yep. And I couldn't have reacted worse. I reacted worse than losing mates, losing my dad, injuries, anything. That was the worst I've reacted to anything in my whole life. Shocking state, really. And on the other end of it, I get to I pretty much was in bed for 2 days, just a shit state. And I thought to myself, the only way I get back in the team is if I get up and wake up and get my shit together and support the boys. There's nothing I can do. I've been dropped out of the team. Supporting the guys is, I don't get to play in a grand final if they lose. And, so supporting. So I remember getting to the game being very supportive. I was overly supportive. I was just I just can't, I hope you boys win. Because it was the only way I would get back in the team. And I don't know, you can take it from there basically, but that game doesn't go how you want it to go. You play every game and no injuries.
Yep.
And then
no injuries. No, I think as you would have felt, I think 2018 there was a period there. I think at the start of the year, I think we won 11 or 12 in a row or something. But that was the purest footy, and that was when you, as a player, you realised we're actually a pretty good side. This year this could be a great year. Because I've never been on a footy field, even though we made the grand final 2015, I've never been on a footy field where almost having complete dominance of sides that you highly respect at the top end of the ladder, and we're just dismantling them with our ball movement and just the way we're playing. And each week we screwed confidence. Jack Darling was the best form I've ever seen a forward play for that first half of the year. And then then also towards the back end, leading into the final series, you had that sense of this is our moment. You only get it a few times in your career as a playing group, and I think all supporters feel as well. This is the year to go all the way, and to that first final. I think I played 96 games straight to that point. Soft tissue injury or any injury was probably at the back of my mind. Never thought it was going to happen to me, and just that moment with the game where talking about stats, I chose to bloody soccer the ball as opposed to probably picking it up, which led to tearing my tendon in the hamstring and tearing all the muscles around it, which was disappointing because at the time I thought, is that a cramp? And I was looking up the scoreboard, it was 18 minutes into the first quarter, I was can't be a cramp. So I tried to get to my feet, and I could realise a sharp sting pain straight away. And coming to the bench, I could feel it was getting worse. I was like, no, this is not great. And what Scully said, it was great to see Scully in the rooms post that incident, because he came down pretty much just before quarter time to come and console me to see how I was. And at that stage, our club doctor, he said, luckily for you, it's a low grade hamstring and you're only out for 2 weeks potentially. And if we make the grand final, you'll be there. So
it was you, your dad, me, and the doc in the room. So I came down. The other boys are upstairs. Again, I wasn't down there to be like, oh yeah, I hope Shep's injured. I'll get back in the team. I was literally, my mate's injured. Like, I hope he's all right.
Really positive.
You never know
really
how
positive.
long someone's going to be out for.
Yeah, and do you remember you were doing tests and they were testing your hammy and you had some strength in it. And I'd done some hammies before. Shep never done hammy, and I was like, mate, I genuinely thought, I was like, mate, you'll be right. Boys will win this. Couple of weeks off, you playing in granny, like you'll be fine. I feel bad about it now, but I was just trying to be positive.
No, actually, I really love that you came down to, because like saying that someone who's had hamstring injuries in the past, and to be able to have that bloke just to lean on to be like, mate, if you do the rehab, you'll be right for 2 weeks. Albeit here's the next one in line. So I was there was part of me as well with knowing I was going to be out if the guys were to get up that game. Seeing Scully there as well gave me a level of confidence. But okay, like at least we've got someone ready to come in who's stiff to go out in the first place. It's sort of element of myself of I haven't let the boys down, not being there on the field tonight if they lose the game. Because this is before that the sub rule, Medis rule, I think, for memory. So I was like, have I just cost this playing group, the club, a chance to go deep into the final? So I was probably more emotional about letting everyone down as opposed to the injury itself. And yeah, that whole night, I was on that game ready. I was like an ice pressure machine. Pretty much had like an hour sleep because I did it every I think 40 minutes for the entirety of the night till I got a scan the next day, which showed that it was a tendon tear and it's a 12-week injury, and you're going into surgery in 3 days. So just how quickly things just changed overnight was it was pretty difficult. And like Scully said, I really want to be upbeat and positive with everyone, because if you get seen being down and you're disappointed, and talking about earlier about being the victim and why me, it can be infectious and rub off on people in different ways. So I didn't want to be that person. So I needed a couple of days to debrief and get some clear thoughts of what it all looks like and what's next. And the first thing that came to mind was, as soon as the surgery had been done, was how can I get around the boys, because at that stage they'll lead into a prelim. So how can I just be there and just be still part of the journey, but knowing that you're not going to be playing.
So you find out the tendon, clearly you don't know the club's going to go and win the grand final, but like you said, there was a feeling around the group that we were one of the best teams, if not the best team. So there was confidence. Is the reaction, what is it? What do you feel when you get told tendon's gone? Yeah,
I was pretty emotional. I was just at the cafe and get the phone call thinking it was going to be good news, and it was straight away it's not good news. So straight away I was like, oh no, this is not great. And immediate thought was, this is that moment, that opportunity that you worked hard for. It's going to be taken away, because I never had that feeling in the first 8 or 9 years of playing AFL football. This is the moment in time where I think we're going to go all the way, or go at least close to it, give it a crack, because the way we were playing had so much confidence, and everyone was just playing at their A level. Everyone was playing to their potential at that stage of the year. So I was pretty upset with not being there, but I tried to hide it as much as I can internally. So as soon as I sort of stepped outside my house, positive vibes, always be that sort of, not upbeat, 'cause you can't force yourself to be upbeat, but just be normal and just accept what's going on, and sort of show that there's more to life than just football.
It's not, irony is the wrong word, but basically Shep and I had the same feeling. I think we've spoken a fair bit about it. So I felt like Shep felt when he did his hammy the week before. Like, I felt like my opportunity was gone. I'd put my life work into this career of footy, and I wasn't going to get the opportunity back. And now someone gets injured and it's Shep, and I do get the opportunity. But at that moment, that's how I was thinking. So we've actually been through pretty similar emotions, right? Okay, so win the prelim, coming in we're playing in the grand final. How's that week for you?
Yeah, I think that was the toughest week of my life. The week leading up to the grand final, not just missing football itself, but one of my close mates and my sister's partner passed away first thing Monday morning, and that was I was in shock. I was just didn't expect that to be happening then and there, and had that sort of numb feeling, and went spend the week over in Sydney, which I was sort of away from the football hysteria which Perth has, because it's such a passionate footy state. So I was sort of away from the group a fair bit, and just spending time with the family and with my sister, and just reinforce that as bad as it is for me, like in a selfish point of view, not being out in the footy field, there is so much more to life than just football. It's a game. I love playing it. It's great that I can play the game, but going through this experience just shows you that you got to be is just more life. So at that sort of in terms, I was more struggling with that than being at the ground watching everyone do what they did. And I remember the Friday night I flew down to Melbourne on the Friday afternoon and saw the guys quickly, and didn't want to disrupt everyone, so I kept it hush-hush. No one knew at the time about what was going on, because quite a few of the teammates were mates with him as well, and we knew him very well. So I sort of didn't want to lob onto them what was going through, because talking about distractions could have been a potential distraction for a couple of players. So being that upbeat and being positive and was I guess hard to do, but it was something that I sort of, if I said to myself, I'm going down there, don't go down to Melbourne with the playing group and be loping around. If you're going down there, you're there to support and really cheer the boys on. And there was moments throughout the game and pre-game where I was away. It was just it's quite emotional and dawned on me what was going on, and sort of led to that first quarter where I think they kicked the first 3 or 4 that I think the emotion and everything just got hold of me, where it's just I don't know if it's a panic attack, but I just started sweating and started hyperventilating. So I just needed to get out of this position in the stands, because it was just everything was just overwhelming. I think it all finally caught up. It took 20 minutes into the first quarter, and maybe they are 4 goals down. West Coast are 4 goals down. So I was like, oh no, this is not how it planned out, and sort of that feeling again of me not being there. Like, have I contributed to this in any way? So I think the emotions got the better of me.
So you were sitting with other team members, and what, did you have to just have a spell? And
so they there's no glamorous seats for the squad. we were up in the nosebleeds. No, I think one of the first tiers, pretty good seats actually, just in front of the Collingwood players race where they run out and saw the flag dismantle pre-game. So that was actually great to see. But just in one of the front rows there.
Did you game day for you? It might sound like a weird question, but I've spoken to other guys that missed out on grand finals or premierships or both or whatever. What was is it dumb to ask, did you want the boys to win? Like, is that a stupid question?
No, not at all.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
I think, like, as soon as you understand that, it's the 18 to 22, obviously it's going to mean a lot more, but just the squad itself, what they've got to go to get up for every game, and you need training standards high, you need the support staff, what it means to them, the coaches, how much work each coach puts in after hours. It's not just rocking up from 8 to 5. It's after hours, and they also supporters. I think footy clubs, it's more than just 18. It means so much to so many different people, and even just being retired now, going down to a pub, watching the game, just how much passion and how much footy means to everyone. So I was more of a supporter and fan, because I just wanted everyone to win, because I knew if we won, how good the state's going to be, how good the club's going to be, the feeling inside the club, how good WA's going to be. So I was just more of a fanboy that day.
So 5 minutes to go, game goes how it goes. Boys get themselves back in the game. You're up there with Gaffy and Nick Nat. I've seen the footage.
Yeah.
You boys
Pacing around.
Pacing
I was pacing around.
what's that?
I don't think I've seen that. So you're out of your seats and you just
Yeah, so
because Gaffy's out with an 8-week
Yep.
ban from the Brayshaw incident. Nick Nat's missed with a knee.
Yep.
And you blokes you're like out the back. It's like
so Nick, I think Nick was on the bench. He had to be
That's
front.
right,
He had to
yep.
be front and center because he was a rucks coach that year.
Rucks
Sort of
coach.
rucks coach.
yeah, right.
it's inverted commas.
Just to justify that big pay that he gets from week to week. Yeah, they had to give him a role. No, he did a great job that year.
Yes.
But yeah, Gaffy and I just as we're getting close, you're sitting down.
You're good. You're very good mates.
Yeah. I'm
Potentially best mates. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of your best mates.
One of the better mates. Don't have the best mates, Scully.
Yeah.
Bit of a loser,
Good. Perfect.
No
no laugh.
yeah, I was like,
Sorry, mate.
chuckle.
You're not a loser, mate. Sorry. It's meant to be a serious moment, Shep. 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, because I think as the game's getting close, being stuck to your seat, you're shoulder to shoulder, you can't move. So quite nervous. I saw Gaffy get up straight away and go and stand at the back of the seats at the block. So I was like, it's a good opportunity to go and stand back there. Eric McKenzie was there as well, and we're just pacing up and down because it's nerve wracking. It's a grand final. It's a couple of points in it. So that play, the famous McGovern play,
The moment.
the moment, I actually didn't see it live. I was head down, pacing up and down. I only saw it when Sheed marked it.
Really?
Yeah. Because I couldn't actually watch. Because it's harder to watch because it's, as a player,
You're not in the moment,
It's out of your control. So I reckon you're nervous watching when you're playing.
Yeah, there's no nerves at all as a player. You're just worried about setting up or speaking to your team. Like, you're not even thinking about the result, really.
Yep. And one thing I found, even watching now, just like certain things guys do on the footy field, the running patterns or the contest or how their skill, it's from the stands. Like how do they do that? How's he just done that? But when you're out there, it's amazing. Like watching it live from the stands, like that's just amazing play. Like that, how'd that bloke just do that? But when you're out there, it just shows you just how much you're just in tune with the game and so focused on just the next moment you can be involved in.
You ever do that when you're watching yourself? Like, you're sure you watch your highlights.
Those 19 goals. Yeah, that's how I know play by play exactly what happened. I've got it on repeat at home on the TV.
So Sheeda kicks a goal, last minute, goes how it goes. What's the feeling when the siren goes?
Oh, it's just elation. Yeah, everyone was up and about. Yeah, I was hugging everybody in my sight because it was a very favourable West Coast contingent up in that grandstand. So everyone knew everyone and everyone's just carrying on. But straight away it turned to, how do we get on the oval? there was a moment where I can't remember who said it, but get down the stairs, get down. We've got 2 minutes if you want to go on the oval. So it's gone from yes to get down, and I was still trying to get over my hamstring. So I was like hopping down the stairs.
Were you on crutches or you just...
At that stage, no, just got rid of the crutches.
Limping around.
Yeah, I was limping around. So I was hopping down this like 3 flights of stairs to try and get to the bottom level. Everyone was running ahead of me. I'm like hopping. Because the last thing I wanted to do is tear my hamstring up. There's surgery after a week, and then managed to squeeze on up the race and get on the oval, and just to be there and experience that moment. As a player, it'd be completely different, but as a spectator and I guess mates with everyone, to be able to share that experience. Straight after the siren was something pretty special, and everyone, all the West Coast fans, hung around all game for the first probably 2 or 3 hours post game to be able to witness it and do the lap of honour with everyone. See Sheeda have his personalised photographer standing behind him, taking photos of everything. But it was a great moment.
Yeah, this question might be loaded. I don't know. Do you people ask me all the time? Do you feel sorry for Brad Sheppard? And so I'm your direct replacement, right? I find this interview quite. It's not strange, but it's direct, right?
No, it's interesting to watch.
So I'm your direct replacement. People ask me all the time, do you feel sorry for Brad Sheppard? My answer is no, I don't, because that's how footy goes. My footy journey was what it was, and yours is what it is. And do you harbour jealousy maybe, or I wish I was there? I mean, you've got an incredibly refreshing, positive outlook on life, really. But that whole 2018, how do you feel about? not our relationship, but the fact that I come in, play a grand final, win a premiership, and you don't.
Oh, I think in terms of the relationship, like, that's great. I'm really happy that you got to experience that, and it's great that I thought you were stiff to go out in the first instance. So talk about journeys and stories. It just shows you that if you're out, don't drop your bottom lip. You could be back in straight away. I think it's a good lesson for everyone. But yes, don't get me wrong. There's still moments. I think I wish I was a premiership player. I wish I could have played. That's why you play team sport and sport in general. Is not for a paycheck. It's to be able to test yourself against the best and to win premierships, and that's your sole existence. Well, it should be your sole existence to why you play sport. And to miss out on that, it was tough. But getting back to that game, I think is in the change rooms where all the playing group had left and everyone had left and went up on the oval because I think, not the Killers, or you had to get presented on stage, and Jets was singing the
Midnight Oil.
Or some not Meatloaf. That was a couple of years before. But I had a moment there where I was just, I was quite emotional. I was like, this sucks. It sucks for me. And Daniel Pratt came up and he goes, don't let this moment define you as a person or a footballer. And that's all he said, and that's all he had to say. And from that moment going forward, I've been happy and content with it. Although I'd love to be a premiership player, but straight away from that moment, a good saying that my old man always drilled into me growing up was like, your character is never tested when things are going well. It's how you deal with adversity. So I reckon I had about a week where I was a bit flat with what was going on, but straight away it turned into motivation. But this is what it is. How can I use this as like motivation? How can I come back a better player and have a really good couple of years?
This question I feel like comes up a lot, like just in general footy fandom. Thoughts on every player getting premiership medal, like because you're one step away from getting that.
Every squad member,
even just the 40 whatever, the 44 list or whatever.
That's a good question. I've always been the past no. Being like, this should just be the 22. But going through what I have this year of more recent, I think the concussion protocols are going to be even more relevant and be going forward. I think players potentially will be missing a month of footy. I think that's the way we'll go, whether it's not next year or it could be, I reckon it should be next year, but going forward. And if you played all year and you miss a month of footy or you missed the first final, and I think potentially if you play, say, 15 games in a season or you play games, then you should be presented with a medal. Because I think going forward, I think in the past, I should say, if you do get injured, that's just part and parcel of sport. But because concussion is so topical and you want to protect the players itself, it'd be I think as a player, if you knew that you're doing the right thing for your health, knowing that if the team does go all the way and win a flag and you're still going to get it presented with a medal, then I think players will be more open with the doctors about what's going on, as opposed to hiding everything. Because we all know if you start hiding things, then the more long-term effects that these players have. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah. Assistant coaches get...
assistant coaches do. No, maybe not. I mean, I'm kind of the same as Shep. I often think about if roles were reversed, right? So because before Shep gets injured, roles are reversed, and I miss out on the flag, and I miss out on the, and I think Shep has handled it and speaks better than I ever could, and I'm pretty proud to hear him speak about it, to be really honest. But I've always said no. Like, I think it should be only the 22 that get it. And that wasn't based on, I've won one, no one else deserves it. It was based on if roles were reversed and I didn't play, I don't think I would have wanted one for some reason. But the same as Shep, post-career, I've kind of come full circle and been like, no, it's like what Shep spoke about. It's not the 22, which is what I thought it was. It's the 40. It might not be the 45. Some guys don't play in a year, right? But they do have something to do with it. But maybe it is the guys that play 15 games in a year and get or 22 games in a year and get an injury or a head knock or something like that.
Put some sort of filter.
There is some provision for guys that have clearly the only way that team's got to where they've got to is because they've done what they've done. So I've probably revised my position as well. Yep.
You're pro.
Yeah, we both have. Yeah.
Putting some sort of filter in place where if you played X amount of games.
Yep. And I never have been, but probably
I've always been that.
The last 6 months or so, probably just wiser.
Almost every other sport does it.
No, it would make sense. All right, 2018 done. Anything else done? So 2019, 2020. I mean, you do take that missing out on something, and you put that to good use. You go 2019 All Australian squad, 2020 All Australian selected. You play State of Origin for your state, bushfire relief match. You win a Glendenning medal in 2019. You win Best Clubman in 2020. Like you fired that for your rest of your career. That was your fire, right? To win another. And you and Gaff did the same. Nananui did the same. Guys that missed use that. Is that right?
Yep.
Use that to drive yourself.
Yeah. I think the motivation was never higher because we saw it as, as the squad we had, how close we are to potentially go back to back or at least put ourselves in contention again. So, I think between us three, but even the other guys that hadn't experienced it, it was real resolve and motivation to try and get back there.
And the guys that had won that were close with you, for me, instant. I used to write. I don't know. You ever know this? I used to write Shep on my wristband in 2019.
No.
I used to write Shep on my wristband. Sometimes I used to write stuff on my wristband all the time. So 2018 it was AFM, who's my mate that I lost, Andy MacArthur, and my dad's AJS, right? And that was kind of my it was to help me switch on mentally. And so through 2019 I had Shep on my thing. I was playing with you, and I used to write Shep just as a bit of a driver to want to get back there for Shep, for other people. And yeah, I think we'll be connected forever with this shit, right? Like it's definitely something I get asked about all the time, and it's a good thing. I mean, I know it's not positive in your end, and for some aspects it's not positive for me, but it is how life and footy goes sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have your ups and your downs.
Yep.
And that stage was an up for me, but you've had more ups. No All Australians for Scully. Tell you that.
What was the process of that All Australian selection happening? So, where's your blazer at the moment?
Well, that's one thing. I still don't have a blazer.
What?
Hey, we spoke to Josh Kennedy. He said he's a multiple All Australian. You only get one blazer, which I was shocked at.
Yeah, so I still haven't received mine from 2020.
Why? Did they not fly? Is it COVID?
COVID, yeah. So they didn't fly us over.
Hang on an absolute second.
Yeah,
BackChat, Charlie.
Get your blazer.
Charlie, start writing the email right now.
Yeah, heading it up now.
at
This is
AFL.com.
ridiculous.
That is not good enough, mate. I'm telling you right now. You don't have your blazer.
Negative.
And that's not something you'd chase up either. Shep wouldn't be like, where's my blazer? We need to handle this.
Okay.
Would you like it handled?
What's your
that'd
suit
be great,
size?
yes.
What's your blazer size? 42?
Oh, I've probably blown out
48.
So, yeah, go with a couple.
All right. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get Chevy's blazer.
That is the actual directive out of this podcast. We get you all your fucking blazer. And I'm going to present it to you right here.
All right, sounds great, mate.
I'm actually
That'd be
excited.
awesome.
This is actually that
All right,
good.
great. Yeah, that's our mission. And all right, I'm gonna segue this straight into things that people deserve. You obviously did lap of honour around Optus. What was that like?
It was great,
Sweaty?
albeit being
Sweaty?
like 35 degrees and wearing a light grey blazer.
Yeah, I was there. I watched it. I saw it. I did. As you came past, I was like, oh boy.
For people listening and watching along, I've never seen a sweat. I've seen footballers. I've seen athletes. I've never seen someone sweat so much in my life than Brad Sheppard on the back of the highlights.
Yep, it was steaming, and I'm a big sweater, and I was going along with it and going past the bench, and I was given to the top tier, like right up.
Yeah.
And then some lady came up to me. I forgot her name. She was working at the club. She goes, "Just to let you know, you got big sweat patches." and I'll show her. I go
like the T-Rex.
Oh no,
the T-Rex waves.
So I'd mates in like top tier, and I was like trying to got that like
The T-Rex.
Yeah, the whole time. Then the amount of criticism I got post, but mate, you gave us nothing. We got there early to see you, and you gave us a little half wave, and I was like, well, there's a reason why, because from my armpits to my waist, it was drenched.
Are you a naturally sweaty guy?
Yeah.
Ever tried like the dry claw, those sorts of things?
Is that a
Dry
drink or
claw?
something? Or?
No, dry claw is like a deodorant that you spray on and like literally blocks your pores.
It's like a wetsuit.
Yeah.
You just wear a wetsuit. You ever tried that? Wear
All
a
right,
wetsuit.
so next time you go to the
Okay.
store, dry claw.
All right.
It's a thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to
No,
know.
the reason why I was asking as well because Scully hasn't had his lap.
Haven't you?
So you haven't had your blazer. Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like,
we're
no
getting
lap.
you a
Let's go
blazer.
2020.
We're getting
Yes.
a lap because there's players who have retired that've got a lap.
Yeah. So
guy
who's
has
the point of contact with that?
I was hoping to ask you actually, Brad.
Okay. Well, leave me with it.
Okay.
Chris Maston and Lewis Jett are also waiting, mate.
Yeah. So
Are they?
I reckon we have you three of you in the back of a Cadillac.
Cadillac.
Roof-
no, it's a
roofless.
Toyota Hilux. No,
Yeah.
Audi. Audi? No.
Yes, Audi's the sponsor, so it's
yeah,
an
sorry.
Audi convertible. Make sure you wear a black blazer if you do wear a blazer.
Now, it's been a good chat, mate. We're going to get into social media shortly, which I know you know all about. One of the great segments
One of the
all
greats.
time. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's talk about the end of your career, mate, because, I done too soon, concussions. When were the incidents? Like, and how do you reflect on them now? And then where are we at with it all?
Yeah, so the incidents was going over the last 12 months. I had a numerous amount throughout the career, but last 12 months, had a couple in training, just head knocks, nothing really severe. And then the Fremantle game in the preseason, that's when I ran into Bailey Banfield's knee, and that cut me open pretty good. The old Harry Potter scar there, that's there for life. But you would have some ointment or something to put on it. Is that the word? Ointment?
You used to, this is a very serious situation,
Yes,
but before we get too serious, you used to come in regularly with your nose busted up and your lips busted up. You used to get head knocks quite a lot. If I think back over my career, and it was funny at the time because Sheppard come in, his nose is busted up and got a big fat lip, so you put yourself in harm's way as a player.
Yeah, and obviously now to my detriment.
Yeah.
I think the way I always played my footy and I always grew up was, you got to play hard, and if you don't go in hard or you put yourself in a position, especially as a backman, if you second guess yourself, I feel that's when you do get hurt the most. And whether it's clumsy or the way I played, a bit chaotic at times, if you're trying to halve a contest and you're out of position, you do anything to scrap and trying to bring the footy to the ground, whether that's just running into someone flat out or standing under a high ball. I feel like more so as a backman, you sort of have that the instincts and competitive instincts to not fail and just never get beaten, or you have that mindset, never get beaten. If you have that, then you'll get the best out of yourself, and that's what I always had. And unfortunately, put myself in harm's way one too many times, and it led to me having to finish up a little bit earlier than what expected.
What was the feeling sort of week, or what is it now for you? What was it week to week when it was at its worst, or is it still bad? Like,
so my last one was against Fremantle. So that was the last derby, which is not a great memory, getting beaten by Freo. But it was quite an innocuous knock. It wasn't a big knock itself. It shows you that the repetitive nature and the accumulation of head knocks throughout even the last 12 months had caught up with me, and it was a delayed concussion itself throughout the game. And it wasn't until the day after and weeks after where it really started to affect me, like my day-to-day living, severe headaches, getting severe head spins, just getting up off the couch, getting out of bed, even walking around the block after 2 weeks of having this last one. I was having severe head spins, and really area of concern where always being a positive person, just having really bad mood swings, fluctuations, just out of no reason. And it was enough to combination with that and the head spins, which led me to getting a scan of my head, which showed all these microhemorrhages, which is like brain bleeds, which was at the time, well, still is pretty confronting, and that led me to really exhaust what was going on with upstairs to figure out if footy is actually still a viable option for myself to keep playing, or if I can keep playing, what does it look like? And through all the testing over, I think it was about 3 months, the conclusion was footy was deemed too high risk for me to keep playing, and that's, I think at the time, yes, it was hard to swallow, but at 3 months post that game, I was still having symptoms and bad symptoms. So I tried to get back into training about a month later, even before I made a decision with the Waffle guys, and about an hour post that last training session, I felt good and I was ready to go in the off season, enjoy the off season. I driving home, the lights startling me. Couldn't read my phone light to be able to call my partner and say, something's not right. Head spins, and I was just in a world of just I've never experienced before, and that's when I knew this is bigger than what we all expected. I expected, which sort of confirmed all the findings that I had found out over that month prior, and then the month post that as well. And as tough as it is, it's real. It's I feel like it's becoming more common in AFL players and all contact sports around the world. The further study with head knocks and the cumulative effects of subconcussive knocks, it's not so much the big concussion, it's the accumulation of just that feeling. You get dazed in a game, you get knocked and you're like, got knocked, and you're seeing stars for a bit, but you're still conscious, you're still with it, you still pass the testing, you're not knocked out. Yeah. So accumulation of that over a 5-year period, if you have ones week on week on week, then that has the lasting effect, long-term effects.
Do you worry about long-term effects?
Yeah.
Not only your mental health, but your health?
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of seeing all these past players coming out now, speaking up of experiences they're going through. It's I do get a bit worried. It's not so much to now. You'd like this. I've got a pair of optical glasses, or reading glasses, that are tinted rose-coloured. So they're rose-coloured lens. It's not a fashion accessory. Or
Shep used to roll into team meetings with glasses from very early on, 2010, 2011.
Like the
ones you got on.
Okay,
and we used to bag him and say, "You're just making this up." But you're telling me now that you're rolling around with rosies.
Yeah, got rosies.
Well, Mick Moldhouse transition lenses on.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yes, but that helps to read. So to be able to concentrate over 10 minutes,
regulate your eyes.
Your brain, to put your brain at ease. Because if I didn't have them or wear them whilst reading, and even off computer screens, it's it's about a 10-minute span before your patience just gets too overwhelming. So that's definitely fast tracked my development in terms of getting over these symptoms by getting these glasses. So if you see me rolling around Perth with these rose colours, give some advice, but there's an underlying thing why I'm wearing them.
Because you did you sign another contract in the off season of 2021, or was that midway through 2021? So
2020 extension, yeah.
So you were there was no, at that point you'd obviously had some knocks, and it was just you still thought your future was well and truly
absolutely
and well.
Yep. I don't think you ever think of it as a player. You just you'll go based on how you're feeling then and there at the present. You can't forecast what the future holds. As a player, you can't not expect to be in contests. You can't not expect to get hit in certain stages of the game, because it's a competitive game. It's a contact game. But it wasn't till that the back end of last year where the subconcussive knocks. It was taking a bit longer to get over, and I was having blood tests. I was having all these tests to see what I thought I was deficient in iron. I thought something was going on, but never actually thought it was my head until I had that bad one against Adam Sard, who bloke's half my size knocked me for 6 in the middle of the SEG.
Yeah.
But wasn't until that last Fremantle game where it sort of post that, going through the testing, everything started making sense. Like why I was feeling the way I was, why certain things were the way they were. 2
more questions. One, on the back of you retiring early from concussion, and in fact you've had head knocks, do you look at the game and think rules should be changed? Or do you look at it and accept that it's a competitive game and a contact sport and knocks are going to happen? Where do you sit on that?
I think the fabric of footy is constantly changing, so I don't want any change. I think as a viewer, you don't want anything changed. I think what needs to change is the protocols and probably greater awareness of players about the concussion and about the symptoms, and I think if we better educate the players will be more open to that feeling, and I think that's going to help them and protect them in the long run. But I don't see rule changes, especially for head knocks.
Okay, good. Last question. Now this is a personal one. I need to get off my chest. Oh well, so I was quite publicly scathing a little bit before you retired. It was released in the media before you actually got to speak to the players. Did you know about that? Did it affect you? I sort of have spoken to you, but I'm interested to hear what you thought about that.
Forgot that even happened. That was shit.
I didn't.
Good question. Yes. I was still waiting on a final report to, from the neurologist to dictate the outcome, but he was pretty emphatic that I was going to be finishing up, and the hardest thing for me was the younger players always come back 2 weeks before the older group, and I wanted to make sure everyone was in town to be able to tell them. And there's only a few players that knew at that stage, and I understand footy clubs, people talking, it was pretty much out there, but I sort of didn't want it to be out there until I had spoken to the playing group, because the last thing I wanted was, I just wanted to, from the horse's mouth, essentially, this is not getting to the reasons, but this is why, more of a thank you to the players and to the footy club. So I wasn't overly wrapped when it got leaked, the story. And thanks for going into bat for me.
Well, I mean, it was a thing for me that I probably knew because of my personal relationship. But I knew you were retiring, but I think a lot of other media types knew you were retiring, and a lot of people put to me, which is fair enough, that people are in a position they've got to report the news as they find it, which is fair enough. But I felt like that specific case. You deserved exactly what you just said, the opportunity to speak to your own teammates you played a lot of footy with, spent a lot of your life with. You deserve the chance to tell them. So I was disappointed for you. So you don't need to say that.
We did a podcast episode, I think on YouTube, purely about.
I was pissed off. Now, no, that's enough about shit. Okay, well, it's not. Social media. Here we go. Social media, the greatest podcasting segment of all time. Sheppy, you've done well to get through the questions from Dan and I. Well... Here are the questions from the fans.
Here are the hard ones.
We'll start with this one. This is from M. Lacroix, number 2.
M. Lacroix.
Yeah, M. Lacroix 2.
It's M. The letter M.
Okay.
Mark.
Oh, here we are.
Yep. So apparently M. Lacroix 1 was already taken, so he went with 2. Also his number. Yep. Rename it Napchat after this guest.
You got anything to say? I'll give you. You got last right reply.
Yes. So, Lecca, as we all know, is having this glamorous holiday with a caravan all around Australia, going to some exotic places, fishing, but for him to jump on that page and to have that comment shows you that the trip's probably not going as well as what he would have liked. He's getting a bit bored, and for him to have a pot at me from afar, I say, mate, I appreciate it because it just makes me happy that he's hanging on to this.
Very good.
I assume I love Mark Lacroix, Eagles fan all my life, and big fan. But I just assume whenever I think of Mark Lacroix, whatever he's doing, he's just in a West Coast Guernsey with a premiership medal on, going, what happened next? Like he's just always in that stage.
He is the ultimate pest, Lecca.
Yeah, he is number 1 pest. Thomas Diamond.
Which 3 players from the club do you see yourself still having a beer with at the pub at the age of 60?
The age of 60? Oh.
Be lucky.
Yeah,
I'll be
lucky to get 60. At the age of 60, it'd be hard to say 3. I would have hoped most of them. Most of the guys I played over 100 games, I reckon. We got that real relationship with, so it's hard to put a number on just 3.
Do you remember how many games you played with Scully?
I'd be 100.
Take a guess.
I reckon his whole career. Or just about 100. I reckon 180.
Went high.
Overs, absolute overs. 129. All right, guess the... so 129, give us a percentage of win rate.
Okay, so it must mean more than... I'd say 45%.
So...
We
50.
We won some
I thought maybe
together,
early.
55%. No.
55?
Yeah, 55%.
That's all right.
55%, yeah.
Wow, it's 10% difference. It's
72,
Yeah, but
72
you've given
wins.
us you've started with a losing.
Yeah,
I went overs the first.
Yeah, sorry, 72 wins, 56 losses, 1 draw.
Draw. Gold Coast, mate?
Wasn't bad. Pants like Gold Coast.
Adam Scott, 18. So I thought he'd be playing. Be out at the greens, wouldn't he? Adam Scotty.
True or false? You were the worst player for the Attadale Bombers 3-peat. Should there be a royal commission into how you won the 3?
Adam, yes, I know
Yeah,
Adam well.
Adam.
Yes, he was at a rival junior footy club, and the Adelaide Bombers, the mighty three-peat. We had a lot of Aquinas boarders to play for that team, and fair to say they were very handy players. And luckily for them, they chose Adelaide as the destination club. They wanted to win flags, and I definitely wasn't the best player of my team, and won multiple flags for them.
Royal Commission
Was there-
upcoming by the sounds.
As you can see, Adam's still pretty salty with those results back in the day. We're talking 17 years ago.
Was it someone that said that Brad Sheppard's dad still wears a Bomber jacket?
Yeah, would have surprised me. He was the head coach.
Which club?
Actually, here's one. Adelaide Bombers. So Jeff Marsh was assistant coach as well. And one of the years we had Chris Connolly whilst he was coaching Fremantle. He was one of the assistant coaches.
There's the reason.
There's a reason.
Chris Connolly, Charlie, you happy with that
Actually-
or what?
I think he got a bit
I
distracted,
tell you
didn't he?
What a big Freo fan.
Big Freo man.
Yeah, I am.
One of the best things to see was when Chris was coaching, he was coaching Fremantle side, and they weren't doing that well, but he'd come down to every training session on the Sundays, help coach us, and afterwards always have a barbecue, and he would always be the one on the tongs cooking the barbie.
Bit more time spent on the Dockers game.
No wonder.
But I'll say, what a man! What a man to be able
very
to give back to the community.
I played for the Coolbinia Bombers, which is
Where?
yeah, Coolbinia.
Need a passport to get there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shep
The other Bombers.
doesn't
South
spend a
River.
lot of time out of the Gontran.
other
He
Bombers.
spends a lot of time around the rich areas. This is just a one word answer. Marshy.O'Meara.
Who is the better fisherman, Shep or Lecker?
Shep.
Ty_Taker3.
Having to defend some of the best comp in 1v1s, how did you prepare mentally?
Best in the comp. You've read that incorrectly.
Some of the best in
Best
the comp,
players in the comp.
1v1s.
How'd you prepare mentally to play on some of these guys?
This is not one word.
What?
This is multiple words. Or
No, yeah. Give us. Yeah, how'd you used to prepare against playing on some of the best forwards?
So I always used to do a lot of homework with whoever my line coach was, and watch a lot of vision, and always used to get it towards the back end of the week, and then if I could incorporate it into main training, I'd always practice on, visualize how I would play that particular opponent. I reckon you got to go, especially those roles, you got to go into detail to see what's their strengths and how, even as little as what side they roll. So, lead up, what side they roll. If you watch, a forward always has a preferred side. So if you can,
What do you mean by that, by role? Just for purpose?
so when a forward leads up and doesn't get used, how they roll back to create length in their game to be able to be in a position to be in the contest again. And he always used to find if I could be in the way and sort of push them out of the way, delay them by 2 or 3 seconds, then they're 2 or 3 seconds out of position from being at the next contest. So I'm always a big believer. Yes, you got to be a good defender and you got to defend the contest, but playing these forwards, I used to prioritise when the footy was away, so they would be out of position. So when the footy came down, they weren't in a position to impact or be in the contest. So it's always like the pre-defensive work. I used to really nail them.
Did you find that forwards would have like a bit Zoolandery and only turn left? Like, would guys have this? They go
I'll
the
tell you
same
what,
way?
that's funny. Jaden Stevenson.
Really?
Yeah, Jaden Stevenson.
I remember this.
Yeah, so Fritsch does it a bit as well. He the way his leading patterns, but Jaden Stevenson, he was one player, and I think it was 18 where he was having that good year, and we went over to MCG, and he was playing out of the goal square, got pace. He's like Daniel Pratt was like, he's your matchup, and he went into detail in such detail. He goes, he only turns, I think it was left from memory, only. I was like, no, he does. He goes, I swear, only turns left. Wherever he goes, he'll spin left. Because I watched a fair bit of vision on him. I was like, he actually only turns left. So I was defending him like
Please tell me you turned right.
No, not once. So I'd always get and pressure him, and so he couldn't turn left at all. So he would try and run wide around to try and get him behind me. By that stage, the footy's already come in. So I found that was a way to beat my opponents.
Exposed.
Try and expose any weakness they have.
Sevenson's built like a young Brad Sheppard back in the day. Very similar builds, actually. Prowls.com.au. I feel like you know this person.
Brad, how does it feel to be known as the cousin of Mitch Marsh and he's better at footy?
Well, It's pretty good now. He's had a pretty good couple of years, Mitch.
Yeah, good point.
No, he's
And is he better at footy?
No, he was a man child as a youngster. So he used to plonk himself at full forward. Traditional Tony Lockett probably Tony Lockett. I actually reckon he would have got drafted, but the way the demands on each individual, you got to be able to run. You know, he would have found it a little bit tough, but very good hands. The Bison got a massive head on him.
Good nickname.
Yeah, literally massive scone.
We keep it going. Alex _Paul.
How much faster can you bowl than Mitch?
No, he was always quicker than myself. I was a more swing bowler.
Yep.
Okay. What about the second one from _J_Jaden?
What made you change your
Could be
Guernsey from number 12 to number 5?
Yeah, that's a good question. What made it was number 5 was my junior number. Brad Ebert just left at the time, and I'd played 2 years at number 12, and I felt like I was having a rough couple of years. Wasn't getting a kick. I was out of the side. My second year, I think I was emergency 14 times for that, and I was like, I was just sick of number 12, to be honest with you. And also, Scully would know, at Subiaco Oval, the locker positions, number 12 was stuck in the corner, and I had no seating room in front of my locker.
So they built the locker room. It was a rectangle, and they had 12 and 13 effectively opening into each other, so you couldn't sit in front of your locker.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was
exactly
13
that.
at the time?
Shuey.
Oh, yeah, Shuey.
Shuey, and it was 11 Pritter. And then there was me stuck in the corner. With
You have to go sit by yourself.
So
Pritter
looking back now, all the change, but at the time, just little things like that were big things. That talk about the mindset of the players. Like, I'm not having number 12. I haven't got a kick in it. I'm stuck in the corner. My junior number's number 5. I had to go to the club, had to go through a process. Reasons why I wanted number 5, and they luckily ticked it off.
How quickly? So Ebert leaves. You see a text? Ebert's off. Oh, okay.
Within an hour.
I got a call.
I was
Did you
front
request
foot.
it?
Yeah, I was front foot. Yeah, I went straight
I love
in.
that summarises Brad Sheppard's career. 5 comes up, available, time to go. That's it, Sheppy.
Awesome, loved it.
Is it good?
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Nah, I appreciate you coming on. Some direct questions. Been wanting to do this for a long time, and it was good fun, mate.
Absolutely.
There we go. Brad Sheppard, done and dusted. Been fun, Dan. BackChatPodcast.com.au. You can find us there on socials. BackChat _Brad. You like that one, don't you? Thanks to all of our supporters and sponsors: Whippersnapper Whiskey, Margaret River Roasting Co., Blue Bet, Cameo, Shelter. Might crack a Shelter after this, actually.
Definitely.
Beautiful beer down in Busso. You can email us at hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. Reddit's not getting a gig anymore, I'll tell you that right now.
And have a look at the best, worst Guernseys.
Best,
going around.
worst Guernseys. Player worn one of those on the line for the best, worst one in the competition. That's it. Bye-bye.